Oh, go on, family members. Hey, big up to all my Spurs Kings and Queens. Big up to yourself, Deji, as well, man. How you doing, my broski?
Bro, I feel good, man. I'm a champion, you know what I mean? And a lot of people said we don't know what the champion feeling feels like. And then obviously we did what we did last week. We made history. So I'm on cloud nine, my bro, and it's delighted to see you. The amount of respect that I've been getting is kind of unnerving. I'm not even gonna lie. It's very disconcerting. Everyone congratulating us. Well done, Tottenham. Well done. You know what I mean? So there were a lot of hidden Tottenham supporters. And for those who didn't win the trophy this season, I'm just gonna have to say, hold that. You get me? Because it's gonna be hold that. But yeah,
Simple as that, man. Hey, I feel like today's like the winner's circle. You know what I'm saying? This is the dance man I have to pull off. Lift up
straight.
the trophy, brother. what it is and that. But yeah, listen, let's bring them on, man, one by one. Also got Mitch in the building.
Yes, Mitch.
What's happening, boys?
No, it's been a minute.
Congratulations.
Won that
You man are
trophy.
looking mad relaxed now, innit?
Yeah, bro,
Slump back
listen.
in the chair slightly,
Oh,
calm.
you see them things there, domination in the law.
Yeah,
I
loving the
Woo, I
merch.
got the
Loving the
t-shirt.
merch, by the way.
I got the t-shirt printed. All right, still, yeah. Listen, also another winner. Big
Yes.
Preach. What's going on?
Wagwan winners, champs. What's going on?
Yeah, no, I hear it, man. It's
Yeah,
different,
yeah,
innit? Skin and teeth. I just see bare teeth. All right, man. It's
different.
crazy. Let's bring on another winner, man. Let's just. It's
Bring the
all
winner.
Yeah.
Bring the winner back, you know what I mean?
I'm getting chilly around all the silverware, man. All the silverware is crazy. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, gentlemen. And big.
I'm just gonna put it out there real quick though. It's gonna feel awkward if we've got anyone joining.
Hey, listen, don't worry, man. We got another winner, man. Don't worry, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
Cool.
We're in a circle for real, man. All right, bare champions. How you doing, Gogs? You right?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed.
Yeah, I hear it, man. I hear it. Everyone looks too blessed to be stressed right now. We have some other guests as well, so we're gonna bring him on as well.
Sir.
Hello
Nice.
to all the
Nice.
winners.
The hairs of my arms are standing up. What's happened?
I'll accept that. I'll accept that. I respect.
Bro, he's been, I respect
I
it.
respect.
I respect it. Yo, well done, Stefan. No, Stefan, well done.
What did he say?
Well done to all the winners, man.
Oh, okay. Big up, Stefan.
You want to hear it again? Is that what you're saying? You missed that? What? Jeez. You also got another. You're not alone, man. Don't worry, you're not alone. But or maybe you are.
Ooh, ooh.
I am. alone.
He's giving my name only.
I should have put
Where's Jay? By the way, I would have guessed he would have chosen this opportunity today to tell us how amazing Spurs are.
Oh, he won't miss it. He won't miss it.
Yeah.
Trust
You've
me.
said
He
his
won't.
name now. He'll be here within the
be
next
here,
3
bro.
minutes now. You've said his
Where
name.
are you, Jay? Are you late again?
He knows he ain't gonna be at the dog, so he'll be here.
So I just want to quickly ask, Liverpool fans, if you went to the parade real quick, how was it? Are you well? How was the parade, man? Talk to me, Liverpool fans.
Preach, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, man, it was good. Great experience. Got there real early. Went by train. On the train, fans singing along straight away. So yeah, it started from early. Got up there, bought my scarf, bought my flag. You get me? You just got involved. You get me? You just walked around, enjoyed.
Talk to me about that near death experience you had, bro. I almost got taken out for a second, man.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it like near death for me personally, but now basically after the parade, after the bus, we seen the team. Decided to go home. Obviously, I knew it's going to be a madness in it, so get to the train station as soon as possible. So yeah, literally just on the way, I was about to cross the road as well, and kind of just basically just heard the bodies being hit, heard the screaming,
Mad. That's mad still.
heard the car speed up, and then he went past me like my right.
Damn.
I just saw, seriously, I was crossing the road, and when I heard the noise, I stepped back, and so there was enough space. It wasn't like it was a close hit or anything like that, but I was close enough to see his face. I see him put his hand on his head on what the have I done? Like proper, I saw the regret, the shame at that moment, and then he drove on, and that's where he went through the bit that no cars were supposed to go through. So I think that where I saw him, I think there was a confusion whether cars were allowed to go through there. So I know they're investigating that. But I think where you lot see the clips of where he gets stopped, he wasn't supposed to go through that. And that bit is just after I saw him. So he's gone through, just went through bare people. So even that bit there can't be panic, because by the time he went past me, most of everyone got out of the road. Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe the first part you could call panic, but after that, you had time to just stop and just turn off the car, but he just carried on going. So
Preach,
I don't really
preach,
believe the panic.
preach. I just want to ask, since you actually saw him, was he wearing a support Luis Suarez shirt also, or?
Oh my days.
You're wild, you're wild. Still,
I'm glad you're safe though, preach, man. And I know Gox was there as well. I'm glad that you guys are safe and that you're healthy as well. And obviously for everyone that's there and all the victims that were like obviously that were. I hope they recover and are well. So, but I'm glad to have you guys. These things in like life is fragile, so I'm just glad to have you guys safe and here as well. That we're talking, man.
Big up, man. All right, Gogs, talk to me, man. Obviously, trophy parade, real quick. How did it feel? It was your first time going up to a trophy, an open tour up bus?
Yeah, first time doing an open tour, like the parade. It was just so busy. Like apparently, it was the most people have been in Liverpool. Well over 1 million additional people, but it was just like a massive carnival. It was just like kind of like how Preach explained. Everywhere you went, just smoke and flares, and then what the thing that I'll talk about is just there was just people hanging out of everywhere. Like obviously people are on top of the buses and stuff. You would have seen that, but there were people in trees. I mean, like high up in the tree where you think like if a branch breaks, scaffolding. They were hanging on to like all type of structures in the air. Just people everywhere that you wouldn't expect.
And then like, the bus also like with the music pumping and was it that you had a DJ as well? You had a DJ.
Right?
On the bus. You had like a DJ on the bus as well, innit?
Yeah. But before the bus came, like because we kind of cotched in one area. I was with a few people, and half of London was there, by the way. Half of London. I started bumping into bare people, but like where we were is like we were waiting for the bus, of course, because it comes around the circuit. But it was like not a rave, but it was just like a carnival atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you kind of even forgot the thing was coming, and then planes started going and flares, and then they came past, and it just made it crescendo. For me, I didn't know anything about the incident that happened, and I hope there haven't been any fatalities. I don't think I've heard that, but
no, I don't think there is.
God bless, thank God for that. But I remember people messaging me because when you're in that much people, you don't get a signal. And when I got to a place of signal, I started getting messages like, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool." And I knew something was wrong. And my auntie called me, and she don't call anybody. And she's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, like she don't even talk to me at Christmas. You know what I mean? So I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And then she's like, told me what happened, and then obviously the footage.
Auntie Sheila was checking in.
Did you just hang up? You all right? Yeah, all right.
Exactly. I knew not talking to me again. You know what I mean? But apart from that, it was live. It was an experience. Next time, hopefully, I can go. Like I got a son. He's 6 years old. He's a bit young for the parade, but you know, maybe when he's 10 or so, then you know what I mean, take him and have that father-son experience. That would be nice.
Yeah, he would love that. He would love that.
Of course.
That's if you're still winning trophies, then though. Like, don't take it
We
for
will be, man. Come on.
Started early.
I was going to ask Face how he is, but I can't see him. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, he came on and went off. You're asking everybody how was their parade. How was your parade, bro?
Wait, Deji, you want to call them in? Hi, Deji, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean the parade for Tottenham.
He's muted. You're muted.
Oh, am I muted?
No, I can hear him.
He's not muted.
Oh,
I
I can't hear him. Okay.
Yeah. It just look, you had to be there to witness history. Do you know what I'm saying? 250,000 Spurs fans. I did go.
Only 250.
Yeah, 250 is enough, bro.
Is that true, by the way?
You know what it was?
Could have been my club. Could have been my club.
Tottenham was rammed from about 12 o'clock during the day. So
Nah,
by
you
the
smashed
time
them,
we were getting down there, from about like 6 o'clock, it was a complete chock-a-block. But for me to see I think what it did was give good vibes, and it brought a lot of unity for the Spurs fan base. Up until that point, it was a little bit like, are we gonna do it? It's quite bitter. But when we done it, it just felt like a huge relief. Like no one can tell us nothing. All we saw was just joy. No one can kind of rain down in this parade. So For me, I think in the moment we enjoyed it just like Liverpool fans. For us, in that moment, we were European champions. I don't give a damn what anyone says. It felt more like winning the Champions League than the Europa League. The way that everyone was all live and enjoying the music, enjoying the food. And yeah, carnival vibes as well, all with white t-shirts on. Yeah, it's a pleasure. I might never experience anything like that again, but at least I was there to experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear it, man.
Deji, I just want to ask: is season 3 gonna be better than season 2?
100%, bro. Season 3 is gonna be better than season 2. I just don't know if it's gonna be with Andy.
Okay, okay.
The one thing I can tell you about my club is we have standards, bro. We have big boy standards, and
Oh my god.
I'm going to say to everyone right now, with the way that the Spurs players, fans are just moving, watch out for us next season because I feel
Oh my god. Watch out, guys. There
Here
you
we
go.
go.
No,
Here we
Deji, talk your shit. Don't let anyone tell you not to.
they can't tell me that, bro. Man got 2 for the price of 1, like that
Yeah.
today.
Nobody's
Trophy,
been able to tell Jeji nothing for time, and now he's got a trophy. He's gonna be mad, bro.
Alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, listen.
We're all Champions Leagues. Okay, we're all Champions League.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say, wait. I just want to say, I'm also part of the winners table.
Uh-oh.
Arsenal women,
Oh, yeah, the Arsenal women, yeah.
Arsenal women won the Champions League, so you can all fuck off. We're also
Yeah, man. You man have been just making sure you know the names of players, isn't it? Just in case people ask you on the street.
Like, yeah,
Name
what
4
formation?
players. They're like, yeah, I know.
What formation?
I can name you literally. I would say 7 or 8 players from the.
What's the formation?
I watched the
Yeah,
games.
the XG though,
Sorry.
XGs and that,
Yeah.
GAs.
Yeah.
Hey,
We want a season breakdown.
All right, but listen, guys, let's start the show, man. All of this trophy talk, man. I mean, I don't personally, I won't get tired of it, but there was a certain Henri that did speak on the overlap. I don't know if you lot saw it.
Yeah.
What do you lot think of his comments, man? He was talking about 5 years, 6 years, and Gary Neville was talking about building, and then Henri was like, "Oh, you're going to build. It's going to be a very tall building," and he said, along the way you've got to pick up a cup along those 5 to 6 years, and then also Man United, they've had 5 years, but they've got to 5 finals, isn't it?
Ash, who are you asking? Are you asking me?
Steph. Yeah, answer. Go on.
I said this in the group. Henri is for all his, he's the greatest ever, in my opinion, the greatest ever Premier League player, the greatest ever Arsenal player. But for all his exploits as a player, he's talking from both sides of his mouth, because when Arsenal won the FA Cup, he then said Arsenal isn't only about winning FA Cups. He said Arsenal is about winning the league and also challenging for the Champions League. So he's always had this. I've never understood it. He's never been positive ever since Arteta took over. But for him to talk it's hilarious. Him and Gary Neville to talk about building a squad and building a team. Probably the 2 worst managers, I would say, in the last 10 years, if you look at their records as managers. So it's disappointing because he is correct. The thing that I'm annoyed about isn't the fact that I completely agree with him. Arsenal need to win a trophy next year. It's you're not consistent. You're full of shit, because when Wenger was, at the end of his time, when Arsenal were a banter club and they were declining, I never once heard Henri say, "Listen, we're Arsenal. We need to win."
He
I
did
never
say that.
heard
That's
him
why he
say,
left to go to Barcelona.
okay, yeah, and that's the other reason why I also question what he says. But I never heard him do interviews as much as he does, criticizing Arteta, saying the obvious stuff that every rival that he knows that every rival fan will take and say, "Oh, look at what Henri said." I never heard him say this under Wenger. And if he had said this under Wenger when we were at the end, or even under Emery, where we were really bad and we were declining further, I would say, okay, you know what? Henri is all about winning. That's his standard. But he's not.
You wouldn't say that.
He's never liked the fact that he's never liked Arteta ever since he actually took the job. So for me, I don't take anything what he says about, especially about managing and what needs to happen, seriously, because he completely contradicted. When Arsenal won the FA Cup, he said, again, he gave a backhanded, I would even call it a backhanded compliment, in which he said, great that you won the cup, but it's not about winning the FA Cup for Arsenal, it's about winning it. Now he says Arsenal need to win cups
Yeah, but
while challenging for the league.
yeah,
Or
Yeah.
but what I would say to
believe-
that, yeah, but I would
Wait,
say
wait.
to that, yeah,
So,
that was 5 years ago. Yeah, he didn't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years, which is the rise
No,
of.
but he's being hypocrite because he also said in that same interview, the one that you guys just gave, reaching a final. Reaching a final? I thought you're about winning.
No, but that's what he's saying. He goes, "You're not winning cups, or even getting into finals. Like Man United, no matter how bad they are, they've been in five. He's saying at least reach the final. Like,
Okay. And I could make the same argument that Man United are exactly what Arsenal were towards the end of Wenger. So why, when Arsenal won an FA Cup in 2022, why did he say? Because he was speaking again. He was trying to downplay what Arteta did. Because
he may
He
have a
wasn't-
personal
He
beef with
wasn't a
Arteta.
no, I'm not saying he has a personal beef. I'm saying stay
He doesn't have a
consistent.
personal beef.
But
stay
when people
consistent.
say, you can't just say stay consistent. This is over a 5-year period. If new things happen where you can change your mind about things. If he's
But he
saying
hasn't. He's
yeah, but
always
if he's saying 5 years ago they're more than them just winning FA Cups. This
okay.
is 15 at that time would have been 15 years since you guys won
Okay.
your last Premier League. He would have
Okay,
been right to say Arsenal are more than just FA Cups because you've proven that in the
Okay,
past.
okay, so
5 years
basically,
later, when Man City, Liverpool have essentially taken over and dominated around, Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, all these type of things, now he's seeing, oh wow, we're not really at that level type of thing.
too.
But at least get to I don't want to just say, but Newcastle have been in 2 finals in the last 3 years. Like
Yeah.
he's looking at those things like that. He's looking at
Newcastle. Okay,
Tottenham
yeah,
have just won. Tottenham have just won the Europa. Liverpool have just won the Premier
the
League.
league. Okay.
He's thinking, what on earth is going on? You're right, preach. It's
Okay,
preach.
where was
Yeah,
this?
no.
Wait,
Okay.
He's just
so-
confused because it looks
okay,
like
wait,
Chicks
wait.
has just stole a baby, bro.
He's got a baby in his hand. I'm like, no.
Baby in his hand.
Okay,
And I'm trying to say it.
It's like the baby challenge on
I'm
Love
trying to
Island,
look
bro. What's going on?
Hey,
I'm looking at
Faze,
the
you never
baby's
did
head here, and
breastfeed
I'm
in
like,
there, bro.
I'm trying to work out how
Yeah.
I ain't heard from Faze in ages, so I'm trying to work out. It's like,
wait. Yeah, wait.
oh,
Let me.
go on.
Yeah.
Let me
I got a
just.
son now.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
man.
Big
Big
up.
up, man.
I probably like to see,
Big
man.
up.
Thank you, man.
Wait.
Sorry.
Why didn't he?
You know what? That is so much better than a trophy, by the way.
Well done, Faze, man.
Well
God
done,
bless
man.
you, man. Well done, man. Well
Thank
Hey,
you.
hey, Tiggs. Hey,
Stepping on
hey.
his own.
Yeah, Stefan,
Hey.
you're the only one not in the winner's circle this week, Stefan. Chicks has joined us.
Wait. Okay. Too.
Faze is the winner in life. You get me? Like you're by yourself now, Stefan, bro.
He's done that reverse Denzel. He's not leaving with something. He's come with something today.
He's like, hold on, they're talking about trophies. Where's the
Let me
baby?
bring
Where's the
something to
baby?
the party.
Hey, big up, please.
Sorry, Stefan. Go on, Stefan.
No,
Yeah,
I just
apologies.
okay, too. I would agree with you, but then why did he never say this when Arsenal won 3 FA Cups in 5 years, and everybody could see that those FA Cups masked the rot at the club, masked the decline at the club, and also illustrated how Arsenal had gone from challenging for league titles, gone from one of the premier clubs in in the Premier League to a cup team. Why didn't Henri give an interview and say, listen, I know we've won 3 FA Cups, but we've been nowhere near the league. We've been nowhere near the Champions League. We got embarrassed by Bayern Munich. We got embarrassed by Barcelona. Why didn't this big-time Mr. Winner that he consistently acts and talks with Mikel Arteta specifically, why didn't he ever open up his mouth towards the end of Wenger's reign?
He was never going to do that to Wenger, though, man. Wenger gave him his
but
debut at
this is
Monaco,
where,
brought
but
him
this
to
is
Arsenal. He's never going to do
but
that.
Mitch, but this is where I call out bullshit, because Gary Neville, for all his shit about, like, when I hear Gary Neville talking about managers, it makes me laugh. Both of them. Henry had Monaco 19th in Ligue 1 in 6 months. Okay, they were going to get relegated if he had continued. Gary Neville, everybody in Spain laughs at him as the worst ever La Liga coach in history.
Well done, Jay, man.
Big up Jay.
And these two fucking eggheads are talking about what it takes to build buildings. Okay. So but it's the same thing as Gary Neville.
That's ridiculous.
It's exactly the same thing as Gary Neville. No, wait, let me finish, and I'll give you guys. The final thing is, it's exactly the same thing as what Gary Neville and Roy Keane did, which is they would critique Mourinho and they critique the hell out of Ten Hag, who both won trophies at Man United, but they did not say a goddamn thing about Ole. Once. They never critiqued Ole. They never said anything about him. Why is that? If you want to be a pundit,
they did.
Yes, they did.
no, they didn't. No, they did not. They never critiqued Ole. They never did. They never did.
But Stefan, already, like, Oli was in charge for like half the time that Arteta is, and he was getting demands. Even Klopp was getting demands. You need to win. Like, it's easy to say after they won because those claims went away. Yeah, but before all these managers win, they either get sacked because they have like a bad season, and they don't.
Mourinho and Ten Hag won, Jay.
No, but what I'm saying is,
hold on, Jay,
you talk about Oli just then. So I'm saying Oli. Remember, he lost the Europa League final. Oli.
Yes.
Yeah. And he also finished second. Did he finish third as well? I don't know.
Yeah, he finished second and third.
Right, second, third, final, and then he had a bad start to the following season after they bought Sancho and Ronaldo.
Yeah, but so did Mourinho. Ten Hag finished third. Mourinho finished second.
So what is you're acting like none of these managers got heavy criticism. They all got heavy criticism.
Not from Gary Neville was even asked. Even Roy Keane admitted that he wouldn't criticize Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They would not criticize.
So hold on a minute. We need some fact checks because this guy just does nothing but lie.
He does like to lie. He does like to lie.
Stefan, you said you're going to speak and let someone else speak. So you had your turn. Let me speak now. Now, you just lied, yeah? You said that Keane. You said that Keane didn't criticize Ole. I saw him when he said, if Ole came walking through this door now, I'd grab him by both shoulders and say, "Why are you playing Fred and McTominay in the middle of the field?" That's exactly what he said. Yeah, so that's a criticism. He's saying that he's choosing the wrong players.
He also said the biggest.
Hold on. You say he didn't criticize him. He did. That's one.
He blamed the players for letting down Ole.
That's
a backhanded excuse.
Hold on, Stefan.
Okay.
You said something that's not true. You said that he didn't criticize him. He literally
criticized him.
I want to go to another point. I don't want to spend all night proving how much you lie. I'll be here for 2 nights. But anyway, he did criticize Ole. That's the first thing. Let's get that across. Yeah. Now, in regards to Henry didn't say anything wrong, and he has been completely consistent.
No, he hasn't.
You just brought up Emery for some reason. I don't know why you're talking about great managers. You said that why didn't he criticize Emery? If you listen to what Henry said yesterday, and you weren't just cherry picking, he said, a manager needs time. A manager needs 2 or 3 seasons. He needs 4 or so transfer windows. Therefore, you wouldn't ask the question, why didn't he criticize Emery if you actually listen to what Henry says?
Okay, Wenger.
Wait, I'll let you finish. We let you finish, bro. We had to sit through a lot of shit. Emery didn't get the 3 seasons. The reason why he's criticizing your Messiah is because he's been there 5 years, spent 800 million, and he hasn't even got to a final. Now that is a fair critique, And he also said, by the way, I don't know if you just looked at the headlines or if you actually listened to the whole interview. He said that that Arteta's done a good job bringing them to a standard compared to where they were. He's happy with the progress that has been made. However, they're at a stage now where they need to kick on. What is wrong with that? There's nothing
I don't
wrong with
have jokes. I never. This is what I mean. I never criticize. I agree with what he said. What I have an issue with him is his consistency, which he did not. He never questioned.
Why does that matter? Why does that matter? If the point is valid, why does that matter?
Because I think you're full of shit.
It feels like a deflection tactic to focus
it's
on.
It's not a deflection tactic. I agree with what he said.
Making.
I told you, I was trying to say.
Why does it matter if he didn't bring it up then? He's bringing it up now.
Because Jay, it shows me if he's this type, if he's a winner, winners are ruthless. Winners have no sentiment. They're all about winning. If he's a winner, he would have come out and said, "Listen, Wenger, he's had a great time. He needs to go." If he cares about Arsenal so much.
Your criticism is 8 years ago he didn't chew out.
My criticism, Jay, is him lacking consistency and him having
because 8 years ago he didn't chew out Wenger.
He wasn't even a pundit then, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean? Do you need to be a pundit to comment? What do you mean?
You tend to comment a lot more when you're a pundit, so people hear more of your criticism.
Okay, no.
You're just going to rock up and just start cutting out Wenger. Why would you do that?
He wanted to bring up Talk Sport and be like, Wenger out.
No, not bring up Talk Sport. Have a normal interview where every interview he's done, including as a player, he was asked about Arsenal. Every single interview, if you watch.
You see how you say Henry and Neville are the worst managers, so they should be competent. That's like saying you shouldn't be telling them how to do interviews. You don't do interviews yourself, bruv. It's the same thing. Your experience. Yes. You can't be telling people what to do if you ain't got that experience.
I'm telling that Neville and Henry shouldn't talk about building a team when they're the worst managers.
Okay, cool.
And none of us could then talk about it.
Yeah, like we just say.
What are we doing on this? What are we doing on this channel?
Okay.
We've been talking all season about what managers should be doing in the game. Like, none of us have got one badge.
Okay. So wait.
It's only 32 minutes.
Okay. So you're telling me, Man United fans, because Gary Neville is a legend, take very seriously what Gary Neville says about what they need to do in terms of management, in terms of how the club should develop. You're telling me that they have to listen to them because they're club legends.
They don't have to listen, but they're allowed to talk on it. Like they can have.
I'm not saying they're not allowed. I'm not saying they're not allowed. I'm not saying they're not allowed. I just don't take it seriously, especially Henry, who has been hypocritical with Arteta ever since he took the job. Just like when he won the FA Cup, he, again, backhanded compliment, said, great winning the FA Cup, but then he downplayed it by saying Arsenal's about winning leagues. Now Arsenal haven't won a cup or been to the final, but now it's all about winning cups. Which one is it?
That's the next step. At the time of winning the FA Cup, he's like, right, now go and win a league. And it's like, right, you haven't won a league. Let's roll back. Let's win a cup. Let's get to a final, and then we can go on to try and win a league again. You can't just jump them steps. That's all he's saying here. The landscape's changed, so his view on it has changed. That's all it is.
Can I ask a question before you come into then?
Yeah.
Stefan and FaZe as well, if you can hear me. What would you guys accept for next season in terms of would you accept? I know obviously you can't get a conference. That's out of your reach because you're in Champions League. But would you take an FA Cup as an acceptable season for Arteta in a semi-final and not quite getting that title over the line? Or is it only majors that you accept?
Me, you look being genuine asking me this.
Yeah.
Oh, is that mad?
I'd take anything. What do you mean? I'd take anything. What do you mean? I'll take it into Toto. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
They got the into Toto.
Yeah. I'll take anything. What do you mean?
Man used to love the Toto.
No, because I remember at the start of the season.
Maybe you should ask him what's the minimum they would take. They'll be satisfied with.
Okay, FA Cup for me.
Yeah, I was
FA
going to
Cup.
say Steph has been consistent because he was said at the start that he'd only take an FA Cup.
Who said that?
Steph would only take an
Okay.
FA Cup because he thinks that a League Cup would mask, like, the problems that are potentially he sees the cup getting.
Why would a League Cup mask it? Just out of
No,
curiosity.
it wouldn't. It wouldn't master match. People would say 700. The new narrative would be 700, 800
What do
million for a
you
fucking
think?
League Cup.
Like, what do
Yeah,
you think?
we're here for your opinion. Like, because I've told you before, Stefan, losing 4-0 to Newcastle on aggregate was nasty work in the league.
Yeah, but losing 5-0 to Liverpool, 4-0 away was really good.
I mean,
But
if we got
it's
by the
okay.
league champions, I mean,
Okay, well done. You're
yeah, I
Europa
mean,
League
it
champion.
happens. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, European champions to league champions. It happens.
Which
Yeah.
reminds me. Yeah, go on. No, go on.
I was going to say, so are you saying that you wouldn't take a League Cup?
In the league.
You wouldn't take a League Cup. You'd be.
What's that, Stefan? What is that muttering? That you're
The old man muttering.
I know, bro, you lost here. Like this. By the way, I just want to say, Stefan, right? I know you don't want to give us true credit for winning the Europa League, and I don't want to go through the points of you had 3 attempts to win the Europa League and couldn't get the job done.
Oh well,
the stream isn't for that. But
of course, yeah.
I do want to say,
if only we could have faced 16th Man United in the final.
Hey, bro, you lost to United in the FA Cup. You are taking the piss here. Yeah, you lost to United this season in the FA Cup.
That's true.
And Jay, we beat you twice.
Why
would we beat you twice? Didn't we?
United this season.
Yes.
Does that make sense to anybody here?
Okay, we beat. First of all, we beat United in the league. We lost them in pens, and we beat you twice, didn't we, Jay?
Bro.
So by that logic, we can easily win the Europa because we have beaten your ass for the last 3 years.
Literally
every time.
The team that we beat in a cup competition this season. Like, I'm not going to say you easily would win it. You lost to Olympiacos. You lost to Sporting.
6 years ago, Jay. Why are you bringing up?
You might win it, but you are 0-3 in the competition.
Okay.
Manager that you don't rate is 1-1 in this competition. So what are we doing here?
Which
what are you actually arguing?
Do I not?
I'm just making a point, CP. You know what I mean? There's no real point here. I'm just flexing a European trophy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Next season, when your manager lists in December, in your 13th, we're gonna talk again.
Fortune teller. You can always tell me what's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Look, anything positive. When have you ever said anything positive about Tottenham in the entire time I've known you?
Look. How can I say something positive about Spurs? They had 22 losses in the season. You guys were a joke this season. The Europa League has masked everything. Has made you drink the Kool-Aid again, which is going to be beautiful because I hope you give Ange a 3-year contract and everything's going to go to shit next year because he's a fucking shit coach. He is one of the worst coaches I've ever seen. I don't care if he won the Europa. He won the Europa in spite of himself because he had to play.
In spite of himself. That is new. That is new.
Yeah.
In spite of himself.
Yeah, in spite of himself. Because he won the Europa League, not because of him being a great coach. He won the Europa League because he was desperate. So he changed his whole tactics to play Mourinho ball for the whole Europa League so he can win.
Maybe Arteta should be desperate for some cups.
Exactly. Strategy.
Arteta,
it's a good strategy. It's not. I think that might work. It might get you over the line.
All right, so who's had a better season then? Who's had a better season?
Spurs had a better season.
Wait. Ash. He don't want to answer that question.
Every Wednesday.
Spurs have had a better season. Spurs have had
Hold on, go on. Deji's going to say something.
But I was just going to say, look, every Wednesday we come on here demanding high standards of each other's clubs.
Not me, by the way. Not me.
I was at the beginning of the season. I was very much, just to remind everybody, very much about league positions, table, and that being a measure, and that was poo-pooed. And I was told and informed that trophies was the biggest thing for every club. And FaZe, you confirmed today you will take the Intertoto Cup. So if you have not won a trophy, you have to take that L and hold that. The truth of the matter is, we demand high standards of each other's clubs. Arsenal,
not necessarily.
And Henri has made a very credible comment. A comment that was made early in the season, which was, with the 3-year extension, Arsenal could arguably have Arteta in charge for 8 seasons and only have the FA Cup in the first season to show for it. It is a madness.
He ain't been here that long.
No, by the time he finishes the 3-year extension, it'll be 8 years.
No, Deji.
I think it's a legitimate question to ask, and he's right to be anxious. Us Spurs fans, we were extremely anxious, and we remain anxious with Postecoglou. But Postecoglou did a mic drop. He said he always wins in his second season, and he did that. So now no one can chat to my brother. You can't say anything to him. Even if Ange flops next season, he still did what he said he was going to do.
Whoa. He just messed that up with the second season, third season thing, though. He now has to do better. He's just messed that up. He's messed up his mic drop by trying to chase the next one.
He's fighting for his job, isn't it? He's fighting for his job. He don't want to leave.
He should leave on the high.
I mean,
first of all,
but go on, Steph. For me, I'm being real, Steph. Look, I'm a good friend of yours. We've become friends over the season. They say if you know better, you do better. We just want your club to be better. Do you know what I mean? And to start winning again. That's all we want for you, bro. So don't get offended. We're trying to help, bro.
Yeah. Crocodile tears. Yeah.
And because out of the top 6, we'll say the special 7. Go on, Newcastle. We'll squeeze.
No, thank. We've got our own table.
Go on, lads. Go on. Why not?
We're the leaders of the rebellion.
Out of the special 7, you've gone the longest now without winning a major trophy. So we were all on the clock. Yeah, like we're all looking at you now.
Really? You were all on the clock, Jay? Well, Arsenal haven't won before you won your Europa. Arsenal had won for 5 years. You had them for 18, Jay. There's a little bit of a difference.
Well, it's been like a week now, so
okay. Let's just skirt the fact that you hadn't won a major trophy in over 30 years before this one.
Why do you always want to look backwards and forwards?
Can I ask you a question, Steph?
Yeah.
Why do you care so much about their opinion of our club?
I just get so I don't care so much.
But you always rise to it, though.
Yeah, I know. I need to work on myself.
And I respect it because you do it every week, and I know because I see it happen to you, so I appreciate you giving it back. But don't you get tired? Because no matter how much sense you're gonna make, it's not gonna land in this room.
It really won't.
Like Arsenal fans don't watch this channel, so you're not gonna get no good comments.
It's fine. Yeah.
But I respect it because you're just giving the same energy you receive, man. But you know, I gotta commend you though, because I didn't think you'd say that Spurs had a better season than us. I didn't think you'd admit that.
No, I can't.
Bro, when you're hypocritical and you make a terrible take, he's just doubling down because he doesn't want to be seen as a hypocrite. He doesn't really truly believe.
But you can say the league because trophy-wise, they definitely did.
Yeah,
1,000%.
No, you cannot.
Outside of that, it's a conversation.
I can't deny reality, but that doesn't mean, like, for example, yes, they've had a better season this year than Arsenal, but no player right now is joining Spurs over Arsenal. It's not even a debate. Like, no player is joining Spurs over Arsenal currently, which is they could have had a better season.
I think I speak on behalf of all Spurs fans when I say war a trophy.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm just there is a.
You didn't listen to phase 1.
Go on.
When I was going to say a quick question, what would you and you as well, FaZe, bro? What will it take for you guys to get over the line in terms of like what do you guys need?
The league, Ash. The league.
No, I know that, but I mean, what players? Because you're linked with.
Easy.
No, you're linked with Zubomendi. But then also there's that kind of debate with Sesko and
Sesko
Gyökeres
or the Sporting guy.
or the Sporting guy. So who you
Gyökeres.
saying you want? Who do you want? Do you want?
Oh,
You think Arteta's right, or should
for
he
me,
listen to Berto?
yeah, for me, Ash, it's easy. Who I would want, but I just want I just want to quality. Like I want Gyökeres easily. But in terms of Sesko, I think Sesko in a couple of years is going to be really, really good. I think he's got all the tools, but I don't think he's the type of player that comes in and immediately has a massive, massive impact. So I would choose Gyökeres. But for me, I told you after the Arsenal PSG loss, it was evident what Arsenal need. It's obvious. Gyökeres has, I think, 99 goals in 101 games, something absolutely ridiculous with Sporting. So
So why
let's
do
see
you
who we
think then?
sign.
Why do you think Arteta's going?
If you believe the reports from Ornstein
Mm.
and stuff, it's between Sesko or Gyökeres, whoever Arsenal
This is what I'm
decides.
asking because I feel like Arteta wants Sesko.
Once Sesko, no, Arteta and the scout team, the data team, really
Yeah.
they love Sesko. They wanted him last summer, but I think Berta he wants a win now type of striker and a more ready striker, and that's obviously Gyökeres. So it's going to be a really tough call because both of them, from what I read, are probably going to be around the same. Maybe Gyökeres a little bit cheaper, which to me is ridiculous.
You know what's risky for you guys? You might have the same issue we had in our summer last year, where Eddie Howe and Paul Mitchell had an issue about Gahey and how much money to put up. You have to be so careful that you get that whatever problem they have, they iron it out real in quick time and go for the player that they want. Because players also feel it when they know, oh, manager wants me, but a sporting director doesn't want me. Like they know about this. I remember when we got Anthony Gordon, when he was saying, like, I could tell that, like, from the sporting director, from to the managers, they all wanted me. And if you got players thinking, bro, one wants the other, like, am I really going to be valued? What's going to happen when I need to get my contract renewed, for instance? What's the sporting director going to be saying? So you guys need to iron that out. That situation.
No. You're completely right. You're completely right. But then I can send it back to you, which is I also like this a little bit because I think in the last few years, especially last summer, I think Arteta had too much say and power. I like somebody challenging the coach a little bit. I like somebody making him feel a little bit. I'm not saying that there should be a chasm between the coach and the sporting director, but I like somebody coming in with different ideas, who's got some balls, and to tell Arteta to not allow Arteta to have pretty much a monopoly of decision making with everything. So for me, that's good because I think if you look at all of the the great clubs there were, if you look at Arsenal, for example, Arsene Wenger, when Arsenal at their best, had David Dean. The moment David Dean left and they gave Arsene Wenger too much power, Arsenal declined. I could argue the
Arsene
same
Wenger didn't
thing.
like sporting directors. I don't think he looked at David Dean as a sporting director. I don't know what his
I
official
know, but
title was.
I know, Toon, but David Dean was still kind of a mitigating person that managed that situation. The moment David Dean left, there was a vacuum of power at Arsenal, and as a result, Arsene Wenger took up the mantle. It became ridiculous. I can give you Liverpool also. The moment Michael Edwards left, Klopp, in my opinion, the biggest reason for Liverpool kind of going down in the next few years was because Klopp didn't have.
But you're proving my point because Edwards left, Klopp failed in terms of talent idea or whatever. Then Klopp had to leave for Michael Edwards to come back. Then Michael Edwards appointed the coach that he wanted, right? So he's already found something that's aligned to him. Berta wasn't brought in by Arteta. It wouldn't make sense. He's the manager.
He was because
Arteta brought in Berta.
No. Arteta didn't bring up Berta,
Exactly.
but I don't want Arteta hiring in the hiring process. Arteta had a say in terms of they had interviews with the different sporting directors, and they all agreed with the Cronkies, with everybody, that Berta was the best candidate. So Arteta agreed because he had spoken to Berta, and
He should. I think he had zero. He shouldn't have any. He's like you guys got to work out your hierarchy. Like who has got the final say?
I was literally about to say this.
No,
it's very rare.
It's not about.
It's very rare where the inconsistency of who reports into who. Yeah, because when you hire a director, because normally you'll have a director of football who will hire your manager. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not often will you have the manager, and then who's he reporting into? Because he's not reporting into Berta, but then Berta's not really reporting into him. So they're both reporting into the Arteta's like here, and it doesn't really like there needs to be clarity on the structure.
No, Berta
reports into Arteta.
Wait. Can I quickly just flip it to a little Spurs narrative then, because we've got Paratici coming in.
Yeah.
And
they won't let me out. They won't let me out.
I don't know. Do you think there's a conflict of interest with Paratici coming back?
Yes, he's corrupt. What's wrong with you guys? Honestly, bro. Like, come on, like, why are you guys going back to the same guy? Paul Mitchell's available. Go for Paul Mitchell. Like
this guy, like your star midfielder's not sponsored by Bet365.
Wait. Toon,
sporting director. What about sporting
why did
director?
he leave? Toon, why did he leave Newcastle? Was there
for the same reason that Burton might leave if he's not careful, right?
No, but guys,
if Eddie Howe's got a very strong power base and he's got a very good track record of in terms of players that he's recruited, players that he's developed, winning stuff, and getting the team up to the Champions League positions twice and two finals. Arteta don't know about them things, so that's why it's very difficult for a sporting director. It's very, very difficult for a sporting director to come in and say, "Hey, these are my ideas. I want you to buy this player." And Eddie Howe's saying, "Nah, bro, are you mad? Like, I'm not listening to that." And that's the problem that you guys are having now, and it's a bad time for you to have these type of problems. If Berta really wants Gyökeres, but Arteta's saying, "I want Šeško," because Arteta's got to invest his time in this player, and he's saying, "I do not want Gyökeres. I don't want Gyökeres." That's going to be an issue.
No, but wait, but the reports are not saying this. Arteta has said that if we have a divide on a player, we're not gonna every player that we have gone after, including with the previous sporting director, and that's a try type of decision making, which is Arteta, Edu, or Berta, and Kroenke's wise. They all have to agree on this specific player. With Berta, if you read the reports into why he was hired, it was more of a symbiotic relationship. But the main reason why he was hired, Berta, was because of his ability to do deals. He's famous for his contacts with agents. He's famous for closing deals. So that's the main reason why they hired him. Of course, Berta wouldn't join Arsenal. He has such a strong reputation at Atletico Madrid and in Europe. He's highly regarded. He's not going to join Arsenal if Arsenal tell him, "Listen, you're going to have to do whatever Arteta says you have to do." And I like this. I don't want to coach or any type of person within an organization.
You see how much you like it at the summer transfer window when you haven't bought anybody. Like we didn't like
it.
We
already have to. Zubimendi is done.
Is he the right signing though for what you guys need? I was thinking that you guys need more creativity and more attacking.
We need this contract. Zubimendi's got why have you got two of the same players there?
Because we're gonna have, hopefully Partey is also close to signing a new deal. So we're gonna have Partey. We're gonna have Partey and Zubimendi as the sixes, and Rice, and then Rice and Marie. If we want to compete in the league and in the Champions League, we need two top quality players and pretty much
the same players.
How are they the same? Zubimendi doesn't play exactly in the same way as Partey does.
No players is exactly the same, but they're both sixes who essentially
we need sixes, because if Gravenberch gets injured, they have Endo too. They're fucked.
No, but Gravenberch is a different profile of player to Zubimendi. Gravenberch is an 8 who can play in the 6.
Yes, we need sixes, Toon, because Partey this season
You need more competition for Odegaard or like someone that can push on.
No. Zubimendi is a pure 6. He's a pure. From what I've watched, he's never played.
But I'm saying, like, wouldn't you think you need more attacking and creative players in that position?
Yeah, but
defensively you're fine. But I think like going forward, where you need like a creative outlet, I think that's what's missing.
I think we don't, because I don't think we're not going to sign a number 10 or a creative outfit. I don't know what FaZe thinks, but because of the reason as to we have Odegaard and we have Nwaneri, who's a supremely talented player that we need to provide. If we sign a big money number 10, we're blocking him. And we also, in my opinion, I have watched Arsenal youth football now for over 10 years. In terms of I've watched them like whenever they show them. I have never seen a better young player at Arsenal than this Max Dowman kid. This kid is going to be a massive star.
He's 15. Yeah.
I can ask,
guys. I have watched Jack Wilshere. I've watched the best youth player that I have watched from any team that I've watched in those levels was Callum Hudson-Odoi. He was incredible at Chelsea youth level. He was, when you watched him at Chelsea, he was like just head and shoulders above everybody. Max Dowman, this kid, I have never seen a kid as good. Like I wouldn't be surprised if next year. No, I guarantee you next season he will start games. He is that. I have never seen a player that good. Like, I'm not saying it because he's Arsenal. He is ridiculous. He's definitely going to play.
Quick question, yeah. In terms of players, yeah. We're talking about players coming in, yeah. Is there any players that you see leaving? Because there's got to be like maybe a wheel and deal kind of moment. Like, so if there was a player, you like, for example, I'd say Nunes, isn't it? Like, who would you at your team? You'd say
I don't leaving. I would say Zinchenko is probably going to leave. I would say it depends on the offer, but you know, from what I'm reading, basically at Arsenal, if they want to sign a top left winger, they might have to sell one of Trossard or Martinelli. I have no issue with that. So maybe one of those might leave. I think Kivior, I hope we don't sell him, but I think if somebody offers really good money for him, we might sell him.
Who's offering good money for Kivior?
Yeah, I don't know, but
Italy. I think Serie A won him. I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, there have been links to Milan, to Inter, to some pretty big Italian clubs.
So a loan with an option to buy in 2027. Then excellent.
I don't know. Okay, but we currently, in my opinion, shouldn't allow to, like, maybe maximum we should allow Zinchenko to go, but we have a small squad. So we need to add players
Listen, Stefan, you've got loads of defense. Like, I don't want you to be in this situation in 1 year's time. You know what I mean? I feel like we do this quite, and it sounds very familiar to last summer. You know, and then you ended up getting Sterling or something. Like,
banter aside.
I'm not bantering. I'm being accurate. Like, it sounds very similar to what we said last season. If you finish this window and you get Sesko, Sane, and Zubimendi, for example, is that going to close the gap? Because obviously you've got to have confidence in what Arteta wants. Yeah, like all these players, like you can't go light.
Are you saying? I think that would close it. I think that would close the gap.
Right. If we sign, I have told you this, Jay. The moment Arsenal signs a guaranteed 20 goal striker, Arsenal will win the league. Arsenal, the only thing they need.
I think that's for most teams, isn't it? If you can guarantee.
No, it's with. With us, it's painfully evident from this seat. It's painfully evident what we need.
Are you scared of Liverpool right now? Because obviously,
Liverpool. You know, back to Henry, you made another good point.
Tell me more what he said. Yeah, please.
Stefan, it's all right, man. We're all getting, like, it's okay. Like, we lose or get bantered. Something crazy.
Rival fans acting as if like Henry is.
Go on,
sheesh, bro.
Am I allowed to speak?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Appreciate it. So the greatest ever player in the Premier League and also Arsenal legend, Henry,
Okay.
the great Thierry Henry. He also made another point which may have gone over your head. He said that
Tell me,
all
go.
this talk about a number 9, but when we played Real Madrid, all of a sudden we don't need a number 9. When we're scoring all these goals, all of a sudden we don't need a number 9. It's another excuse. But
okay. So I have.
The reason I'm adding. Sorry, you spoke a lot, Stefan.
Okay.
So let someone else speak for a moment. The only reason that I'm saying this, I'm trying to do an intervention for you. It doesn't matter if you get another striker. You're not going to win the league. And the problem is not because of Arsenal, because Arsenal is a fantastic club. It's because of Arteta, in my personal opinion. And it just doesn't matter because, and the reason I say that, and it's not from a place
Liverpool
of
so good.
is you had Aubameyang, who was the Golden Boot winner, the best striker, arguably, in the league. Okay, and Arteta fumbled that whole situation. You had Ozil. You had Ozil, who is
oh my God,
one of the last.
You have no shame.
Oh, let me finish, for God's sake. Ozil, who was one of the last world-class players that you had at that team, and he fumbled that situation. The problem is Arteta. It's not about your striker. And the sooner you get that into your head, the better. Because by the way, let me just remind you of one other thing about your team that you don't like to talk about.
Tell me more, folks. Tell me more about Arsenal.
Gabriel Jesus is a striker, by the way. A striker who won the league with City, who you bought. He won the league playing up front for City. You bought him, as a striker, messed him up. Even Trossard was playing up front for Brighton, and you bought him and messed that whole situation up. So it's not about you need to buy a striker, and we would all love a player that scores 20 goals a season. It's about your manager. Go and get Conte, my friend. Simple and plain. And out.
Okay, Gokes. So let me ask you then. So why then did Arsenal finish ahead of Liverpool the previous 2 seasons?
Oh, bro, no, I'm not listening.
No, tell me,
bro. No, I'm not having it, bro. They won the Premier League. They won the Like, come on, like, let's not even. It's just ridiculous.
I just want to know if Arsenal are just if signing a big time striker, because Liverpool won the league this year. We all know why, because they had one player who beat Henry's record and contributed to 80% of their goals and assists.
That's what you want to believe. If you think that's the
that's what I want to believe too. Really? Okay.
That same player had those clean sheets as well, yeah?
Okay. Gokes and preach. If Salah misses 2 or 3 months, do you think you win the league? Tell me, please, honestly.
That's a false.
Maybe Elliot might stepped up. We might have put Diaz on the right. Nunes might have played better on the right. I don't know. Like, we never knew about Gravenberch until it happened, didn't it? So I guess something would have happened.
Okay.
Well, speaking of,
you didn't know. We didn't have a 6. We put Gravenberch there, and it worked.
And that's what
maybe
happened.
Nunes might have worked.
Joe Linton used to be a striker. Now he's one of the best. Like, he's a great midfielder.
Wait. Okay. Can you stop acting up?
Henry was a winger
last season. Wait, because last season when Newcastle finished 7th, we all know why you finished 7th.
Because you're really on this hop and scotch thing right now. You didn't even finish the Liverpool team. You just now Newcastle.
No, it's like
who else is here?
It's people on purpose acting up just so they can criticize Arteta and Arsenal, because Toon and Mitch know that they finished 7th last year because Isaac missed extended periods of time, because Gordon missed extended periods of time. If you don't have your best striker or you don't have a striker that guarantees you those goals, and you miss that player, you're not going to win you're not going to win the league. So the
no. But the problem is, no. We didn't buy a first team player in free transfer windows. The difference between what you Gokes are saying to you is you have bought players. You just haven't bought the right players as a result of Arteta. If Eddie Howe gets to buy players, we know what happens typically. According to his transfer record, it's pretty good stuff that happens.
I rate Eddie Howe. You know how much I rate Eddie Howe.
Can I just say for Liverpool, what you're saying is most probably true. But City should be saying that, not you. That's the problem.
Okay,
City should be. City's got the right. No, wait, let me land. City's got the right to say, bro, if we didn't have those injuries, we would have been in a title race. Why? Because they won it last season, innit? They've 4P. Like, so we agree, but you're talking like it should have been yours. Like,
no,
that's it.
I'm not.
And that's the problem, fam. And you see, you're making the biggest mistake, bruv. You know, if you go to a live show like a comedy show, yeah, never hackle at the guy on stage. Never cuss the guy with the mic, fam. Don't argue with him. That's what you're doing right now, fam. You're arguing with the guy at the mic, fam, and you're just getting fired because everything you're saying sounds silly, bro.
No, I'm not. It's not sounding petty. It's the reality. You cannot win the league without your best players. I don't know how difficult that is to grasp.
We get it, yeah, but when we talk, you talk about 2 seasons, innit, yeah? Last season, what was your injury record?
Yeah, but you're proving my point again, Preach. Because
last season, you don't win the season. You don't win the league with your best players. That's what we can't. That's what you can't get into your brain.
Okay.
And your manager's going out and buying players in positions that haven't even affected you.
But we're still better than Liverpool with our best players, which is being proven. And he brings up last season. Why did Liverpool fail last season, Gokes? Do you remember? Because I do. Because Salah dropped form in 2 months, and your whole season collapsed on him dropping form. You know this is true.
Fam, you don't. Well, I keep telling you this. Yeah, you see, before those 2 years was a drop off for Liverpool. That's when you look good.
Okay,
yeah, you say yourself. Oh, you came 5th and 3rd. You say it yourself.
I didn't say it. Your own fucking manager said it because 4 years ago. Okay, 4 years ago in 2021, what happened?
Was it a drop off?
There was, yes. You went from winning the league. But why was there a drop off, Preach? Why was there a drop off? Because you went
because Edwards left, didn't it? We already said
not only that. Okay, yes, and that because
something we can identify what went wrong, we fix it, and we're back where we was.
But Preach, there was also a drop off on the field because we all know what happened the season after you won the league. Van Dijk got an ACL. Van Dijk got an ACL.
I'm not rewriting history, but in that time, you wasn't.
You're bringing up history.
Can I just say, by the way, Stefan's lying technique of we all know what happened, and then proceeding to tell a narrative that may or is actually
an narrative.
That is an art form of that is actually a skill way of framing the narrative.
Okay, Jay, no. Tell me last season, or the season Van Dijk went down. Why did Liverpool fail to challenge for the league or to win anything?
Can I answer?
What was the reason, Jay?
Can I answer that?
Tell me, Gokes. What was the reason?
What you're doing, right, is skillfully going around the point. The point that you're making, the point that you're making is that when Liverpool didn't have our best players, when we were injured,
your Europa League side.
Yeah, okay. So we didn't achieve anything, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, no one's disputing that with you. What we're saying is that even when, and this is my original point, even when you have your best players, you don't win anything. So even when you get a striker, hold on,
we're still better than your current.
You're not better than us. Even when you get a
striker, because we finished ahead of you with our fully fit team.
Even when you get a striker, and even all your players stay fit, God willing, you're still not going to win because the common denominator is
what
Arteta. Even on Liverpool's bad season, let's say last season when you finished ahead of us, we still won a trophy. This is what you don't understand. So you just said earlier that Spurs had a better season than Arsenal this season, even though they finished at the bottom of the table and they won a trophy. You just said that Spurs had a better season. So
they won a major trophy.
Even though you finished one place above us, we had a better season than you last season.
But you won the League Cup.
The baby's had enough
you won the League Cup, which is not a major trophy, which is a bullshit.
An hour and 9 minutes.
Folks, it's just 2 years. It's just 2 years, you know. It's not summing up 3, 4, 5 years. Literally just 2
What do you mean?
years.
Okay.
Stefan,
If you do the last 3 years, we finished above you more.
But I don't understand. If the League Cup's so bullshit, why did Arteta try so hard to beat Newcastle?
The League Cup is not. Are we in agreement that the League Cup is not a major trophy?
It's not. It's also not a bullshit trophy. Though,
Is it? So hold on. Why is it not a major trophy? I swear it is.
It's not a major trophy. How is it?
Yeah, but it counts towards our total trophies, though.
Are League Cups on your image, Preach?
Yeah.
They're major trophies for me. Then, if they're on the Liverpool wall, they're major trophies, bro.
Listen, there's a reason why you don't have a parade for Charity Shield, for example, but you have a parade for a League
Cup
major trophy.
Yeah, we have a parade for a League Cup. Our parade was mad as well. Don't try that.
Is the major trophy? Are you guys fucking serious?
It's a major trophy, bro. I don't know what to tell you, but that's not even the point.
Okay.
That's not even the point. Like, you think because you finished above Liverpool for 2 seasons that you're better than Liverpool. That's insane. Like, time just started 2 seasons ago. We're not even on the same.
Because we started challenging in the last 3. We've
won
been a
nothing
serious club in the last 3 years.
Pack it in. You've won nothing. What are you talking about, man? Pack it in. You've won nothing.
Even the shots.
Yeah.
It's just wild. It's literally 2 years. Like your bracket is just 2 years.
Is it not 3? We finished 3.
Yeah, it's 3.
Three years
three times in a row.
3 years second. Yeah.
But I think the thing Stefan's missing is that Liverpool, when they got their injuries and they had the drop off, went into the next window and fulfilled what they needed below them players in them positions.
Did they not win the trophy?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Why are you actually arguing?
I lost what Stefan was arguing time ago. It was just
ages ago.
I think like the point I was getting at was like, isn't the League Cup a major trophy? Because Stefan was saying that he would prefer.
It's not a major. It's the second domestic.
No.
Okay, second domestic. How can you say the second?
Stefan, bottle that. Yeah, just look at all the teams that have won it over the last 10 years and tell me it's not a major trophy. Just read the list of names and tell me they ain't massive teams that went on to either win leagues or win big stuff. That makes it a big trophy.
Okay, and the only reason why Man City has won it so much is we all know because Man City have the deepest squad. That's why they win it. Because most teams in the League Cup up until the semi-final, and including Gokes who keeps shaking his head.
This is such an archaic view of it. The big teams take it seriously. It's a major trophy these days. I'm not having it. None of that.
See, this is what I mean by the lying. Gokes is shaking his head, acting like the first 6 years of Klopp didn't give a flying fuck about the League Cup. He only started caring about the League Cup the moment his league form and his Champions League went to shit. That's the only reason he started caring for the League Cup.
Not true.
Why do we do this though?
Gokes was all about the League Cup every year. Let's act like the
it's annoying. And you ain't even been a manager. How can you talk about Klopp? You ain't been a manager.
I'm gonna go to bed, guys. I'm gonna go to bed.
God bless you. Thank you. Take care, Steph.
Well done, man. You done well, even though they weren't listening. Well done, Steph. Well done, man.
Yes.
I respect you, man.
Mate, you're bad. You're an enabler, honestly.
How? No, because I see he's just giving back the energy that you lot give Arsenal.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Yeah. Because speaking about it, we never won diddly squat. We've been speaking about Arsenal for 75 minutes.
To be fair, 68 of the minutes have been Stefan, bro.
Ash has got his clout.
That's why we kept. You weren't having
75 minutes on the Arteta and Arsenal. I'm thinking, fucking hell. Why are we such a relevant talking topic?
I think it's because of the fan base. It's such a large fan base, number one, and they think Arsenal fans. Well, not you, I'm saying, but a lot of Arsenal fans think they're a bit bigger than like Liverpool. Even though they finished second consecutively for second 3 times in a row. Do you know what I mean?
And I'll add to that.
So then why do you lot sit here and allow any team other than Man U and Liverpool to talk shit about us? Because we're the third most successful team in the country.
Hey, we won a trophy.
So boom, this is exactly my why do you lot allow this if Steph can't do what he does? What's the difference between what he just did
anything for 5 years?
No, but you know what phase.
As when Golk said, conveniently that specific time period you want to link it to. Do you get what I mean? If we go holistically.
Bro, you can flex 20 years ago. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
So why do you only want to flex a specific time period then?
I don't mind that because, well, for me, when Stefan's talking about Arsenal, the narrative to me is a lot because when Spurs were finishing second and third and making Champions League finals,
Even Brendan Rodgers,
we were told we needed to win trophies. That was the narrative at the time. We were not.
But you look. So you're a hypocrite. So you're a hypocrite then.
No, because at the time
you're doing the same thing that was done to you.
No, I'm giving the same
definition
back. I'm saying that is what society told me was the equation for success. Yeah, that's what they said. Trophies is the.
No, but you just referred to it negatively because when you just said that you were second and going to Champions League finals, all that you was told this, so you was referring to it as if you didn't know that and it was wrong. And now you've turned over. Whoa! One at a time, bro. One at a time. So you was just literally saying that when that was done to you, was it a positive thing? Is that what you're saying? When people done it to you, it was positive.
I'm saying that if you participate in society, yeah, you've got to participate by society's rules. I didn't dictate the rules. I'm just living by them. So by that proxy, yeah, trophies is the currency. Okay, you might have some IOUs, you might have a bank loan, but the true currency is trophies. That's why.
So then, why are you allowed to speak to me about trophies when you have one nowhere near as much as me?
What are you talking about in the past or this season?
No, just in general. You said the currency is trophies.
I don't think the Spurs are as big a club or as successful a club as Arsenal, and I've never said that we are. But we are a European champion, and you've never won that trophy. And Arteta couldn't win it 0-3. So when Stefan calls my manager a clown, but he's a clown that managed to conquer the circus. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm going to give Stefan a little bit back, no? That's fair, no?
Yeah.
I just think you sound like a hypocrite. But go on. Sorry.
No. I think maybe because it's all subjective, isn't it? Because you're a unique phase. Because even we try, at least I can speak for myself, I try to be objective. Or maybe I'll get it wrong most of the times and throw little digs. But I think all in all, we try to be objective. Like today,
I don't think we try to be, but go on, sorry.
Generally,
I think we can be, but we can be.
I don't think when it comes to Arsenal we do, but proceed.
I don't think I'm on here all the time like this in Arsenal, like saying, "Oh, I didn't."
You have changed since you won a trophy.
No, I haven't changed. Like you've changed. You've gone drunk of power. But today, I think was it AFTV posted up something today saying, Newcastle, Villa, bottled the final day of the season, which is fine. And then they were like, you see, but then they went on to say, you see, that's the separation between us, us. I think it was Robbie Lau from AFTV was saying us, Arsenal, and the top six, and the rest, we're able to handle those top pressure situations. I'm like, so he's lumped himself with Liverpool, Man City, and I'm like, hold on a minute, hold on.
Statistically,
the season where we've beaten this Arsenal team twice in the semi-final, 4-0, and we've won the final. And just a few weeks ago, we won a 6-point against Chelsea, which was for the Champions League, to get into the Champions League. During these high-pressure situations, I don't know how he hasn't got the self-awareness to say, hold on a minute, how am I pitching myself, separating myself as if we're better than thou when we ourselves haven't won anything, when we're not, when we ourselves are not, and it's
when it goes back to that win anything, you just give them back the ammo. Do you get what I mean?
No, but I'm saying it's for me, he's projecting because you were saying bottle jobs. He's projecting what Arsenal have been hit with stick with, which has been bottle jobs.
Yeah. So welcome to the big boys. This is what happens. No, you're used to not having those expectations, and now you're getting to a level where people expect stuff from you. You're getting called bottle jobs. Yeah. So this is what we get. So now you're actually with the big boys when they start doing that.
Yeah, no, I know. I accept that. What I'm saying is that they're you're saying why Arsenal getting this stick, and what I'm trying to say is, me personally, I try to be objective, but then when I
never said why is Arsenal getting a stick. I said, why are we such a talking topic? And then it spiraled somewhere else.
I brought up the topic because Henry, your legend, he was the one that brought it up. He was 5 years. Was it 5 years? He said 5 years. Man United have had 5 finals, but we haven't got to one. And then he also said, along the way, we haven't picked up a cup either. So I think that's what it was.
But that's a factual statement. So what's the issue?
No, it's because Stefan went against it, and I'm someone who comes on these shows and likes to try and call out bullshit. And he started saying stuff that sounded like bullshit, so I was calling him out. And I felt like a couple of others potentially did the same. It wasn't just digging at Stefan for the sake of digging at Stefan. He was
No,
you
know what it is though, because I understand that.
Stefan for the sake of digging at Stefan. It's never a bad time to be digging at Stefan.
Go on, Faze.
No, but I'd understand it, but then. So, like, he's trying to argue fact, and then you lot argue fact back with him, and then you lot just having this big whole penis measuring contest when you're all trying to prove each other wrong and whose opinions are correct. And then it spends 80 minutes talking about Arsenal when there's nothing to talk about for us.
No, but he doesn't talk about fact though. That's
no, but he did. He said that Arsenal were better than Liverpool in 2 seasons when we finished ahead of you, and everybody said we're not.
Pathological liar.
They don't understand.
No, but Stefan's point was actually Stefan's point was Arsenal are better than Liverpool now if all of their players are fit. Which was what he got called out on, which it's a guess.
Yeah, but then we can be. But if you understand his logic of what he's saying, in the previous 2 seasons when they had their squad, they finished above them. That's all he's saying. So he's only basing it on what's happened. It doesn't because if you do what Jay does and specify certain periods, he's actual factual. But then if we want to broaden the lens, we know Arsenal is not a subject with Liverpool. So, but you lot deliberately don't you don't hear when he actually says stuff right because you just want to kick him.
No, you really got to listen to him. That's why my response was we fell off for the 2 years that he was talking about because you got to listen to what he's saying proper. Like he's not dumb. I'm not like he knows what he's doing.
Some stuff is.
I'm saying no, he might say dumb stuff, but he knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying, but you got what it is, bruv. He don't. It's ping pong, bruv.
Yeah.
It doesn't even connect 2 times, bruv. So in most conversations, there's a good 3 connections, 4 connections.
Yeah.
And
he's left, and we've still done like 15 more minutes on Arsenal. This is mad.
There's nothing else to talk about.
Also, one the conference.
What was you saying, Gok? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that with this particular character, my whole thing is that all the things that go wrong are because Arsenal had bad luck, and all the accolades are because we've been lucky or we've been fortunate, or it's all because like all of the good things are by design, and where Arsenal shortcomings are by It reminds me of my son, to be very honest. Like nothing is their fault. So like for me, it's humorous to pick at that every single time.
At least you can admit that. Because these act like they're not doing that.
Honestly, sometimes it's like unraveling a puzzle. It's like no,
it's true.
You know what's mad, Jay? I actually think you and Steph are very similar. You know,
not in this. Maybe
Steph and Jay as a show would be.
That would be the best show on YouTube. It's not exactly the same though. Sometimes the way you do things is similar. Let me say that.
It's like an inverted version of me. Like if you think of the opposite end of the spectrum, where I have like compassion. He just has a black hole of sludge. I don't even
start a YouTube channel. You could be yin and yang.
I'm telling you, that would be the best ever.
You should do a travel log together. Do a travel log together on that.
Can you imagine?
That's the Jay goes to Eastern Europe.
That's what I'm trying to say. You know, like the that horror movie where they had doppelgangers and stuff, Stefan's like my evil doppelganger.
Oh, well,
you know what I mean? There's like just all the negative points, but no. I don't even know. Are we sacking Ange then, Ash?
I don't know. I was going to ask him it, but I was like, first of all, big up Olu, innit?
Big up Olu. Sending shots.
Olu, but listen, because Olu's an Arsenal fan. Jay's run off now. And like, I was going to talk on the Ange out kind of debate, but he's back.
He's back.
Whenever
Olu comes on, Jay goes off to get something to eat all the time. I don't know what's up with that.
Sorry to interrupt you, bro. I'm going to make a move myself.
Yeah,
But I think one particular talking point, maybe for next time, is I feel like one team that's getting away with murder is Chelsea, because they spent a bag of money last. They got like about 20,000 players. They spent a bag of money. They won the conference, but you know what I mean. I think, and they've got like a prodigal player in Mr. Cole Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think they're getting away with murder. There's no type of banter around their name. There's no questions being asked, and I think that they need to be pulled up.
I asked 2 Chelsea fans to come on tonight, and they were just trying to slip away like, "Oh, it's too late." Even though they've been on before, it's too late. I'm sick. I'm ill. Rare.
Mm.
Even though they won the conference, but their chest was too high.
They got Champions League though, man.
Yeah, I don't think
their chest was too high, saying we don't celebrate conference. I was like, "Whoa, sorry, buddy." All right, then. So what can I do in it? I was trying to make it a winner's circle, but
you don't. When you win the Champions League, you don't celebrate conference.
Yeah, well, them men are bougie, in it. So I'm like, fair enough. Like, our cup's higher than their one. I'm just saying.
Are they champions of Europe?
They've got a parade lined up. That is going to be nasty as anything if they feel that way about it.
I don't know. Like, are they champions of Europe?
No, they are, man.
No, they're a champion.
They won it all.
They are.
I mean, this year, are they?
Yeah, they are.
They're a champion of Europe. Same as Tottenham are a champion of Europe. Whoever wins on Saturday is the champion of Europe.
Yeah, no.
Let's see next season, because I think the Prem started that conveyor belt for these for the Europa.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like every year, like chugga. Like, because we got Villa and Palace in it next year.
Palace, man.
Can I ask a question? Yeah.
Imagine we've got the 2 representatives for the Premier League and the Europa League next season have both already won it.
So you see the Europa, has it lost pedigree now? The format's changed
a little bit, yeah.
Do you guys think so? I don't.
Now I've won it. I put it in the trophy.
Because you know why I say this? Because someone said earlier we failed, but we got knocked out by Olympiacos that dropped out the Champions League. I think we got knocked out by a few teams that dropped out the Champions League.
Sporting got knocked out. Villarreal.
Yeah, so all the teams that knocked us out were from a higher tournament. So, because I heard someone say we've never won the Europa, but we won the Interfairs, which was the equivalent back in the day. But then the format changed and it got redesigned and labeled as something else. So you lot can legitimately say to me, I ain't won this trophy.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So now the format's changed. Is your Europa League the same as the people who won the one with the Champions League all that before?
It's the same competition. You can argue it's easier to win, but it's the same. It's the same lineage. It's like the Champions League format's changed. You know, like the format can change, but it's still the same trophy. So for the last since it started in the 90s. So for me, I think you can make the argument. Yeah, Champions League started in the 90s.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been a couple of years after the Premier changed to the Champions League.
Yeah, the European Cup before that.
Yeah, but then is that not the saying like the European Cup and the Champions League are not the same?
See, I feel they're different.
Champions League is because there's been no difference to the teams involved.
I used to have an argument with a Chelsea fan about this, and like when you look at the numbers, the 6 there, that means we've been champions of Europe 6 times.
No, but this is what I'm saying though.
European Champions League, we've been champions of Europe 6 times, and that's the main point.
Yeah. So you would also draw the distinction that you've been Champions League winners 2, and then European champions 4.
No.
Hasn't Arsenal?
You've won 6 Champions Leagues, no?
No,
well, not labeled Champions League, but the pinnacle European trophy. You've won it 6 times.
That's what I'm saying. Like the semantics doesn't really matter. It's the same competition broadly.
I think but that's the difference, though. I think because even though the format and it's a league now, it's still the same quality of teams in it.
Yeah, 100. But that's why I call it like it's the same thing. Like the Premier League.
Is that not the same as the Europa though?
But wait,
no, because no Champions League don't drop into it.
The Europa now is more similar to.
But Arsenal got knocked out by Sporting Lisbon as well.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah. Guys, can we stop talking about trauma, man? What's going on here? Talking about Arsenal getting knocked out all the time, man. Guys,
what's Ange saying? Is Ange going to stay? Like, you guys want Ange to stay?
Well, this is what I brought up earlier about Paratici, because I said to you guys about the whole Paul Mitchell and then the Berta thing. were to obviously conflict of interest with Arteta wanting some players, I'm looking at Paratici. Was there a conversation being had in terms of him, what manager he wanted to bring in? Because obviously now he's got control of all football rights. And so is there a clash of ideas and ideologies? And also, we're taking a guy called Vinay, who used to be the CEO of Arsenal, right? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So then you might have two powers above Ange, because I think Levy's trying to separate himself. Well, that's what the media say anyway. That's what the journals say. They say that Levy's separating himself from the football side. So you've got Vinay, Paratici. Do they have different ideas to what maybe the former CEO that came in, which was Scott Munn? Maybe they don't want him. They don't want Ange Postecoglou. They don't mind. They don't think that style isn't quite effective in the Premier League. So I'm still not sure if Ange will be here long term. But I think that's the reason why Ange was saying, if you think season 2 is good, then watch out for season 3, more or less.
Do you think Ange should stay though, yourselves, like us?
Me personally, like everyone was saying, the league is the barometer, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure he can marry that kind of low block football, what he did in Europa, and bring it into the Premier League and be successful, because I think he needs to tweak, and he wasn't really tweaking in Europa. All he was doing was, getting the lead and then sitting back in a low block. Now, we tried that against Liverpool in the Cup, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's my example of it. And that's a Premier League level team.
Yeah.
So I know we did it against Frankfurt and it worked, but in a one-off game, you might be able to get away with it. If you could bring that into the Premier League, will he do that? I'm not too sure, because after every Europa game, he went back to type. He went back to normal. I want to be on the front foot. I want to try and win a game. It's who we are, mate, kind of thing. So,
Ash, it reminds me of, of what Wenger used to do sometimes, where there were one-off games where we play like a Man City and we'll be defensively solid. Like I remember when we beat them 2-0 and everyone's like, has Wenger learned? And then it was the same thing, back to the same football, like a couple of weeks later. And it felt like it was like you said, like, is it a one-off thing? Or is it a pattern that you go on with, because again, it's a final, so it makes sense why you get a lead, you defend for your life, right? You don't want to just attack, because it's a one-off game. It'll be interesting to see if he stays.
Exactly. If he adopts that.
I give Ange a bit more credit, than that. I feel like the when we play you in the League Cup, I feel like he surprised us the first game. Yeah, he played a lot defensively then. Surprise! Remember, you won 1-0.
Yeah, that's right.
I think and that was a learning curve. I learned something about Slot there in terms of he will expect something that he's seen. Like he will expect you to do that tactic again. But see, for the second leg now, there was no surprise element. So like we battered you. Newcastle. Newcastle surprise element. Me and Toon spoke about it. For the final, there's a surprise element there.
That's a one-off game. That's a one-off game. That's the difference.
Even Forest, they done it as well. Surprise element. You get me? So I feel that Andrew's got it, yeah. And for me, I feel like I'm right back at the beginning of this season when it came to Ange. I feel like just those little tweaks, a bit more, and like I know they're one-off, but obviously the injuries, players back, best players playing.
I hear it.
I feel like you'll give him this one more season. I
would agree. I just feel like because there's two unknowns coming into the club, I don't know what was discussed as we were losing all those games in the league. Do you know what I'm saying? I think between him and Levy, he would have said, "I'll give you the cups." But then, as he's employed Paratici and Vinay in, they might have had a conversation saying, "I'm only going to kind of come back if I have complete control of footballing matters." Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't. They sat down in form and said, "Yeah, you know what? This is."
Ange needs to start.
Don't you think Ange's got enough? Don't you think he's got enough to like?
He needs to start fast next season. Right. These guys will be ready and waiting.
Right, but this is the problem I have now. Yeah, obviously, once the dopamine of winning the trophy like wears off, it hasn't, by the way, but once it does, yeah, what the decision on Ange is being taken, I'd like to think, with the view of next season and the season moving forward. Yeah, I wanted to get some stats for this so you guys can truly understand, yeah, what it's actually been like a little bit. So, since the first 10 games, so after the first 10 games of Ange's reign in the league, yeah, Spurs have accumulated 1.18 points per game. 1.18. This season, yeah, it's been
38 games.
1 point per game. Okay, obviously since the overall, including the first 10 games, it's 1.37.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Well, are you for him getting sacked, Jay?
I personally, I think in my heart of hearts, I think we should probably have a new manager next season.
No, you can't do that,
man. I've thought about it deeply because it's not. The problem is,
no, you're ungrateful, man.
What Jay has just said is in 66 games, yeah, you could give Tottenham all of them points he's accumulated in 66 games, and they still wouldn't have won the league.
No, but
a 38 game season from anybody else that's won the league, they would have only picked up 77 points.
In the last 66 games, we've lost 38 games.
Yeah, but hear what I'm saying though. That's irrelevant. You won a trophy. The same thing you're beating up and wanting Arteta sacked for and condemning him. You can't. You're being ungrateful.
No, but what I'm judging him on next season now is Premier League, right? And then also you're playing Champions League.
Yeah, but you didn't judge Arteta on that.
What do you mean?
You only judged him on the trophy.
No, Arteta.
Do you not get my point though?
Yeah, no, I judged him in Europa because he was in Europa and he never won.
He won it.
No.
No, I'm talking about no. And if you are sitting here telling me that the first guy to give you a trophy in 17 years, lost Harry Kane, finished 5th, had an abundance of injuries and had a terrible season, but managed to give you a Europa, doesn't deserve a 3rd season. In my opinion, you lot are ungrateful bastards.
But my thing is that if he got another season, I'm not going to moan. I'm completely fine with him getting another chance.
You might get relegated.
Bro, I'm not thinking like that. What I'm trying to say to you is
he's lost 22 times.
Bro, it's like
and the tools.
Who finished below you, Jay? Man, you finished below you.
No.
The bottom 3. Literally got relegated.
Well, then man will go down, and Spurs will stay up. Then
Spurs
going down next season.
But imagine if Ipswich was sick.
No, but also, but also think about it this way, yeah. Going by those stats, it means that statistically, Spurs will draw most games than win. That is crazy.
Yeah.
No, but so hear what I'm saying, Olu. Yeah. So if it's only trophies, yeah, and I get sacked for not winning none, and Ange gets sacked for winning them, what the fuck do we want?
No, we're not saying that. Like, we're not like this Arteta. We're back to Arteta again.
No, because I just want to see consistency in your narrative.
Yeah, but the consistency is.
I'm not saying Arteta should be sacked. When have I ever said Arteta should be sacked?
We're not saying Arteta should be sacked.
I'm projecting. Sorry, Jay.
Yeah.
No, Arteta shouldn't be sacked. But I'm just trying to say, like, listen, like this season is acceptable because you're breaking a trophy duck, and the Europa League gives you a Champions League spot as well. Like it kills like 2 birds with 1 stone.
And the injuries, Jay. You've had a terrible year with injuries.
100%, please. But my thing is, if you've accumulated, like I said, across 66 games, you're accumulating 1.18 points per game. Yeah,
that's 2 seasons.
So that's a year and a half of watching these performances. And the Europa League is amazing and fantastic. But when you're making a decision of the team next season, you have to take into account how you've performed on a weekly basis. And, you've got to then say, is he? Are you hoping he's going to dramatically improve?
Yeah,
or
that's the thing.
do you definitely know he's going to?
There's no loyalty in football, though.
But no,
yeah,
but
that's not cool. But we can't accumulate that
Do
point.
you know what as well, FaZe? You know the difference is as well, yeah. Like they're finishing 17th as well. Like, got to remember how you felt.
8th.
You get me? Like with the
but remember, I add context though. I know I don't go into every season expecting and having the standard of I must win everything, because I've never experienced that in my life. So I take this season for what it is and what happened in the season.
Yeah, but you're more like, ooh, close. We almost won. So you're on the other side of the joy or the spectrum.
These man every week.
What do you mean, like week to week? You mean?
Yeah, happy.
You get your
dopamine.
Weekly dopamine hits.
Yeah.
We got it all in one go, like a heroin addict.
Can I say something? Can I say something? I mean, first of all, we have to also take into account they played possibly the worst Man United game.
Here comes
Man United team, obviously. No. And the reason I'm saying this is because I have so much hate for Man United right now, because I've got years of Tottenham jokes I've had to retire. You know, things such as Tottenham could only see parades in black and white TV. That last time Spurs won something, there was no HD TV.
You're still trying to get it out now. Look,
it's the last time.
I'm apologizing. I'm literally apologizing right now.
I'm not allowed to use these jokes anymore. Here are the jokes.
They were good jokes.
Final curtain call.
Every great comedian needs new jokes, Olu, man.
True. Can I apologize for my jokes? Let me just apologize for my jokes. Okay, so the internet wasn't around.
Can I say something?
That's funny though. The intranet. Intranet.
Well, guess what? We won something now. You get it.
All them jokes. Ange can't get sacked for me, man. I still feel bad about sacking Wenger to a degree. Do you know what I mean? So Ange can't get a sack.
Yeah, but that was the height of ingratitude, I think, for Arsenal fans. And I know they'll hate this, but you guys were regular Champions League guys. And yes, there were things that about Arsenal's play that wasn't great, but obviously that's when they were like, nah, we need him out. We need the trophies. And then they have a point, but it was like, you're right.
We finished fifth.
And you've seen the best. You've seen his best.
Yeah.
It's dropped, and you've given him the chance to.
True. That's true. Yeah. And he hasn't pulled it out of the bag.
Them man, they're ready to. It's like, this is your best, isn't it?
I think for me the thing is it depends on.
Yeah, put it down, bro.
Put it down. We did. Emirates Cup. I saw the Emirates Cup. I saw the Emirates Cup.
I thought you was going to do the Women's Champions League thing there for a second.
I
was about to say, someone's already claimed that today. You can't use it as well. Let's not do that. No, but quickly, Ash, Jay, do you think that the new guys coming in are sat there thinking, let's line a manager up and see how he starts?
I think it depends on who we can get. Like, who we can get. You can't, like, I feel like because of what Ange has done, like, you can't, like, even if like someone like Thomas Frank, would tactically be much better, it's like you can't really sack Ange for Thomas Frank.
You can. Like, if you don't want to get relegated, you can.
Also, technically, you're actually confirming and saying that Ange is a 17th position manager.
No,
you're actually thinking it's going to happen again next season.
I've contemplated it.
What I'm saying is like it's the squad needs to get stronger and stuff like that, and obviously the team can, like, unless you can get like an Inzaghi or like a top coach.
The reason why,
like you like I'm okay with Ange. I'm fine with Ange being manager next season. I'm just
crazy.
asking you personally, like, if you're personally asking
that's crazy because he's just proven that.
He said Ange could get next season, you know.
What 17th is. Like 17th is insane.
No, I know. I've been there. I understand.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's not a cool place.
17th.
It's not the place to be.
We've been below that, by the way.
Yeah, we've been 100%.
couple of times.
You guys just adopted the darkness. I was born in it.
Yeah.
Molded
So
by it.
17th was the dream at one point for us. That was the position we could get.
I prayed for times like this, bro.
Yeah, but the league's difficult, man. There's no easy games, man.
I know, but that's my point. We're obviously a lot better than.
All right, so are you saying, FaZe, if Arteta got 17th, are you Arteta in still?
Bro, I just take the context for what the season is. They had mad injuries. This isn't a regular occurrence. This is a one-off.
Arteta.
I've never seen Spurs finish 17th in my life.
Never have I.
Yeah, I mean, so this is clearly a one-off. You lot are going on like they're going to get relegated. Do you not genuinely think, if Ange stayed, do you not genuinely think you get relegated next season?
Before we got relegated the second time, the season prior to that, we finished 70th. I think it was Gutierrez who scored like the final, final kick, like whatever, and got us. We were so happy we were going to change. Next season we got relegated, bro. If you don't change that,
but you didn't win the Europa.
No, but was your season? And was your season down to? Was it? And
did your manager finish 5th before that as well? After losing the best striker they've ever had.
One of our strikers, one of our managers did finish 5th not long before we got relegated.
And relegated next.
Soon. Very soon.
It
was within 2 seasons.
Preach, we'll just rub it.
It went down to injuries. Well done, Preach. You saved me there. Well done.
Actually, because I was going to send Ash something, but I was looking at your injuries, and yes, it's been bad, but it's the worst clusters were in between game week 12 and 14, and then 29 and 30, where you had 11 players out. So that's about 5 games in total. Fair dues. Obviously, Romero, Van de Ven, and stuff like that. But even still, like, I kept on thinking this man can do better. Your key problems were losing the ball in your third of the pitch, which is insane because you're good at build-up play, but you're not that good. And then the amount of errors that you've got and your bad defending, like all those things consistently. That the league table doesn't lie. I think it shows you who you are for every team. And I think Ange is who he is in this team. If you guys want to go through this again, this is insane. You could get relegated because either Leeds or Sunderland, whoever came up, might be just that much better. And you got Champions League on top of that. The intensity of that, it's going to get even worse.
Man, this ain't fair, man. This ain't fair.
You can't stake your life on this.
You know what? You know what's happening? You see what they do to us, Olu? They're doing it to Spurs now, man. They're taking their negative connotations and trying to drag that.
But
I was thinking that through the whole speech.
Thank you.
Let it happen, man.
No, because I'm not a shit ass.
No. These guys, listen. These guys want you to get relegated. I'm speaking from you guys want to get relegated. It's your business.
Man. Spurs ain't getting relegated.
The majority of the numbers say that next season will be very similar.
You're gonna get whooped.
It's bad.
Also,
The worst top 10.
That felt like slavery. That felt like slavery.
Whipped in chains, bro. You're gonna get whooped.
See, you're being. Look, I just ChatGPT'd it. Injury crisis. Spurs had 11 players sidelined during the final stages of the campaign.
Yes, 29 and 30. Week 29 and 30. Yes.
Yeah, and then before that, it says throughout the season, Spurs faced challenges due to injuries, particularly in defence lineup. At one point, all 4 centre backs were unavailable, leading to a makeshift. They've had serious. It's not just only been a couple of games, man.
Yeah, no. But I think, FaZe, I think that the concern is, and I think this is why the fan base is quite divided, because before we won the Europa Cup, a lot of fans were Ange out, but then when he won it, all of a sudden they forgot about the league before that, and it became about he's done something that no one else has done for us. So they kind of dismissed our tactical approach and our setup, even with the injuries, because you have to kind of say, look, I can't play as aggressive, or I can't play out the back the way I would like to, because we've got, in terms of short passing, And in terms of playing out the back, we're the number one team in terms of playing out from the back with our goalkeeper. We hardly go long. And the one time we did decide to go long, and I think it was against Crystal Palace, we had two wingers that were nowhere near physically matched up for what Crystal Palace had. So again, in terms of like tactically setting up teams, like to say, okay, this is when you go long, this is when you go short. We've had time, like a whole like week, or we've had a good period of time to kind of figure out, okay, this is how we should beat Palace, or this is how we should beat X, Y, and Z. And it hasn't quite worked out. So there's a concern in the fan base that might continue into another season. We're talking about football, not forget about feelings, forget about like the actual trophy lift.
But you can't, because but that's all you lot care about, though.
No. But I'm saying,
but even that, yeah. You see the tactics thing that you just said,
yeah. Go on.
That worked in the Europa League. You know that.
Facts.
Playing out short? Yeah, that worked.
Whatever tactic you used, it worked.
And the Premier League is horrific. We don't care in the Premier League.
Yeah, but
what I'm saying is he had the injuries.
All right, so let's just say, mate, let's hypothesize this. Let's just say he threw away the league and focus on the Europa League.
I don't believe that.
No, but let's just have a hypothetical and say he did that, because that's what Arteta did to a degree with the Champions League. So we got knocked out by. You prioritize things, innit? So if let's just say he did that, because we don't actually know what he did. He did do that. Which is sensible, no? Because we just crucified.
No. He did that. You know what he did? Why he did that? Because in January there was no hope, right? There was no. It's like, you know, you're going to fail your science exam because you're not good at science. It's like you're going to focus on like food tech. That's the only hope you got, or PE, whatever. Like that's just what he done, and he admitted it on open camera, and he was so proud about it. And I'm like, come on, this is insane. You can't.
Are we saying that?
You see, Ash. You see, you guys. You're saying that I'm trying to like pull the wool over Ash's eyes and Jay's, but it's you guys. You guys are wicked. Yo, the guy finished 22 losses, bro. Like he just told you the stats, the same stats I read out when I was doing it today.
That don't matter, Toon. It's only because bro, Arteta just done everything but win a trophy. All the league, what you're holding in the high regard. No, but I can't, because this is my manager who I watched get crucified.
There's something in between, bro.
Which is what? No trophy, which you not crucify everybody for.
17th, bro. It could be 10th.
No, but trophies is all that matters. You lot had us on this stream, and you done a whole intro of who's won something, and you sit here and all you do is crucify each other. We've all done it for years, shitting on Spurs, as Jay said earlier about trophies. You lot, the only prism you view football through is trophies. No. That's all majority of you lot on this stream, because that's all I hear. I've noticed a pep in your step when you've won trophies, and I've noticed how your attitude and how you speak has changed because of trophies.
I've never seen my club win the trophy phase.
Thank you, because that's all that matters to you lot.
No, it's because it's me being tongue in cheek. Like that's what we're having a laugh about. Like I'm not here saying, "Oh, Champions League winners, aren't we?" Like I'm not saying
that would be a lie. What do you mean?
I know. I'm exaggerating the point.
Am I lying? Are you saying I'm lying? I'm confused.
I'm exaggerating the point. I'm saying it tongue in cheek mainly when I'm kind of joking about trophies and not people not having trophies. Like, because I've never got to experience that. So I'm just bantering me personally. That's all it is. But when I'm giving serious analysis on Arsenal, on Arteta, or on Tottenham as we are now, I'm trying to be more serious about it. I'm giving you my true reflection. Like,
wait, sorry to cut you, Toon. What was your trophy drought? No shade at all.
70 years.
All right, so let's say Eddie Howe won your first trophy in 70 years and finished 17th. Are you genuinely saying next season sack him? There you go.
No, yes.
You're being ignorant now. You're just saying.
And you lost all those players as well that season. Because I don't understand. Because what I don't understand, this narrative, I feel like that part is just
okay. Preach. Great question. So last season, and Mitch will know this, we had similar type of injuries to what you've had this season, and we finished in 2 quarterfinals for domestic trophies, and finished seventh. Was it seventh? Yeah. The only reason we're not in Europe is because Man United won the FA Cup. So we have done what you've done this season, except
you
for
finished 17th.
No, like we've had
and won the Europa League, because that's what they did.
He's saying we had the injuries and still managed to do something in the league.
In the league.
All right, so back to my question, yeah. Hypothetically speaking,
That weren't his second season in though, man. You got to
hypothetically, for your question phase, if it was a one season that we'd done well and we had a bag of injuries, and one season he finished 17th and we won a trophy, I would say no. But if you're telling me over 66 games he's picking up 1 point a game on average, and then the second one of those seasons he wins a trophy, I would still be saying he has to go, because the league form is over a prolonged period of time is not good enough for me to expect him to turn that around.
That's crazy.
That's 66 games, though. That's not just you're just looking at
70 years, bro.
Yeah, but one of those.
Ange. My Ange.
So it's a hypothetical. So let's go back in time. No, but you lost Alan Shearer. Everybody expected you to get relegated and not go nowhere and do nothing good. This guy pops up from down under and gets you 5th. You slap it in our face, your greatest rivals.
We got relegated twice. We didn't get. That's the whole point.
You're latching on to reality when I'm giving you a hypothetical.
No.
Let's stick to the hypothetical of what I'm saying.
Yeah. Come on.
So the hypothetical, real world, dude.
Yeah. I don't understand how you don't see my point.
No, but from my point of view, if I've lost confidence in the guy to keep us in the league or to get us where we need to be in the league, he still has to go regardless of the trophy. If I've for some reason got confidence in him to turn things around as a club as a whole, then I would say keep him.
Can I just say, the first season, how does everyone feel about Ange's first season?
I think it was great.
So for me, like when we did get the top 5, it was like we were on a cusp of getting 4th, but I felt like those last 10 to 8 games, we just fell off a cliff. It was crazy.
Overall though.
It was a decent season.
It was an astounding season. You just lost Harry Kane, the best player you've probably ever had.
Yeah, no, I hear that, but I'm just saying in terms of like how we started and then how it kind of petered off. The second half of that season.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far in that bit.
All right, cool. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Because once again, I just want to highlight that if the first season was all right, because I feel like we shouldn't count this season. That's my thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like I don't feel it's fair.
But then that's like us saying you can't count the first 10 games, which basically got them 5th last season.
Basically,
because if you take them 10 games out where they got off to an absolute flyer, he's averaging 1 point a game.
Because you call that a manager bounce, no?
Breaking it down, I want to just do. I'm trying to.
Is that not a manager bounce? First 10 games.
It's not always that.
I don't know, because injuries have played a part of that as well.
Point, but Chinks and Preach, that's the point. We don't know. That's why it's a 50-50 call. And I'm okay with either decision, because on the one hand, you say back him and hope it improves by you buying in players. On the other hand, you say I've seen enough.
What do you think of the players we bought so far?
Hold on one sec. Can I ask you something, Jay? If Ten Hag was playing Man U in that, Ten Hag was playing Spurs, do you think the result would be the same?
They might have beat us.
Do you get what I mean? So this is what happens when you listen to the ops. Remember, everybody wanted Ten Hag sacked, and look where they are now. Like, remember these guys.
Ten Hag was stinking up the joint in Europa.
What trophies is all that matters, though? Trophies is all, but he won trophies every year, bro. We just beat Steph for 80 minutes about Thierry Henry saying we won a trophy in 5, and Man U have been to a final 5 years back to back, and Ten Hag have won 2 of them. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. It's just one whole batch of disingenuity where we all just want to underhandedly shit on each other.
But that's not true, Face, because we literally just gave you the reality of the matter, where they've had 66 games where it's 1 point per game. That's insanity. That's relegation form. You can't deny that. Like, and then you're saying, "Oh, but I'll be back." It's like, I was gonna put a bad relationship, but it's like someone's really nice to you. Your partner's really nice to you from Monday to Saturday, but on that Sunday, all hell breaks loose, and you're just like, if the police are getting called, you can imagine.
Bingo, you're amazing. Right? So here we go. And what you're talking about is P Diddy Cassie, and she left with 30 M's. So it was a win-win-win-win-win-win. She had the time of her life.
She still gets to tell her story. She still gets to sneak him.
She still gets the money. She had Kid Cudi, Ryan Leslie, all these guys that were going to give you the mid-ground, and she wanted Diddy. You want the trophy. That's what that matters.
Like for me, I'll just run just quickly. Yeah. For me, I just feel like first season he showed what there is to come. from Spurs here, got new players in and didn't get the chance to really show that with the new players, with all the injuries. But he still managed to win a trophy. Like, whatever decision he made, whether he did just write off the league and focus on it, whatever he done, he won a trophy through in that situation, innit? So I feel like, I don't really feel Spurs is an actual... you are
17th.
17th. You're a top 10 team for real, you get me? So, if anything,
top 10.
given that...
Yeah, fuck off, too. Fuck off, too. We say Spurs ain't even top 10.
I say top 10 because I feel like because there's a lot of teams that's improved, innit? Like the Bournemouth. I still think they're up there with the Bournemouths and the Brightons. That's where
you do realise teams at Bournemouth had mad injuries as well, by the way.
Whoa. Wait, say that again. Were the Bournemouths and Brightons? Tottenham.
Yeah, that's
Tottenham
what you really
Bournemouth and Brightons.
You see, you're doing that thing again.
Really tough.
You're doing that thing. You're doing that thing where you're beating man with your legacy.
They were
based
on
the season
as well.
They were
I'm not saying anyone's better than anyone holistically. I'm just saying in particular seasons, in leagues, when man finish above you, they're better than you in that particular. Because think about it, you're sounding like Steph now. Steph's here arguing, we're better than Liverpool. We're better than Liverpool. We're better than Liverpool. But they finished first and we finished second. Man who finished above you can't chat to.
Wow.
Do you get what I mean?
Is this allowed? This the guy you're backing.
That's what I'm saying. And you're saying this.
Phage is about to become the comments villain.
No, hold on. No.
That was a quick kill turn, bro.
CP, you're saying this and you're questioning why we're doubting Ange because Brighton and Denmark.
They're not shit.
Now that's where we're at, chicks. Because Brighton and Denmark can talk to us now, and you're saying, "Why?"
But hold on, bingo, Jay. Because it sounds like that, Jay. But when you add the context, considering you never had your squad, you never had your full squad. You've had an injury-ravaged season. You've had an injury-ravaged season. Look at City. Look at City without Rodri. Certain players are more important to styles of play. After they spent how many hundreds of millions buying players?
So Tottenham have spent money too. They're one of the highest spenders in the league.
Yeah, so we compare Spurs spending to City spending.
This is what's happened. This is Spurs. You're still in cloud 9. I think Jay, you're still in the clouds. You see, when it's once the dust settles,
he's inhaled the secondary smoke. Like I don't know.
Yeah, once the dust settles, you're going to be
unfair,
like, hold on.
This is unfair.
Ange's good enough to get us to win a trophy. Hold on. Like you're that's how good you are right now. You get me? You really need to think about it. Do you get me? Like you're good enough to win a trophy.
But I just don't know. Like whichever decision we make here, there's positives and negatives. Like I'm totally fine with whatever decision the club make. I'm just like, like I can't be asked with like I don't want to do a mid-season change.
That's
what
I mean?
I see what you mean. I understand you now.
I don't want like it's like got to give him it for the whole
Ryan
season.
Mason's going to take over in January. You watch.
Ryan Mason's taking over West Brom, isn't he?
See, look, Toon's shitting on you so much, he ain't even got his facts right. But this is the guy you want to listen to.
Listen. And what happened? Hold on.
He's using that for 4 seasons.
Okay, so what happened after you won the trophy? What happened when you went back to the league? What was the scoreline again? Who whooped you? Was it Brighton? What was the scoreline?
Yeah,
Brighton have beaten us.
4-1.
Yeah,
no. Is there anyone here Brighton haven't beaten?
This guy, bro. You see, phases. You guys are calling me the enemy. This is the true enemy. They're telling you.
Because you know what? You look do disingenuous stuff because you see like how you won the league this year, Preach. Yeah, people say, it was a shit league. It was a shit league. But then we forget that there's a certain amount of points because there's a certain amount of games you play. So the points, no matter where they go, someone has to win them, innit? So because you haven't won majority of them, they're going to say the league's shit. That means no, other teams that you didn't expect to take points have taken points. So the points have been spread around more this season, which means it wasn't a shit league. It means it was quite a good league. So shitting on teams like Bournemouth and Villa and Brighton, who these teams have done well in the season based upon history that's got nothing to do with this season, is a bit disingenuous.
I know no one's shitting on them. I'm just like I don't want to be grouped with them.
Like when when
what I mean about the 9, you need to start acknowledging the
bro, you need to start.
Sometimes when you're in science and the teacher puts a group together, you're in a bad group, bro.
What's writing one?
You need to be on our side, man. I thought you were the good guys.
You can look across the table and want to be in the other group, but sometimes you're in your group, bro.
Nah, bro. This is what people are trying to. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. Yeah, we're not like we're part of the Big Six. Yeah, we're a European powerhouse. We're European champions. Yeah, we need to take our.
This is the Steph thing we're talking about.
Why are you doing me? I'm right.
Hey Steph.
Give me those cheeseburgers, man.
That's like the black Steph. That's rude.
Wow.
It's just rude, man. It's just rude.
Nah, man. Big up Ange, man. I think he's done a fucking great job, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I think 5th with Kane gone, 17th is terrible. So go on to sorry.
You better be here when they lose 4-0 to the in the opening game of the season against like the newly promoted sides to Leeds. You make sure you're here.
What does that mean, though? What does that mean? Anybody, but that's the Premier League is the most competitive league in the world. They say anybody can lose to anyone.
Losing a relegation 6-pointer on the first day of the season is wild, by the way.
Well, we lost. So who did we lose to? Who did you lose to this season? Preach.
The rebel gag. Say it again.
Who did you lose to in the league this season?
Forest.
What are we saying?
You lost one of 2 games, no?
Forest and who? There was a time when you lot was going to beat our record. You lost to Watford. Like anybody can beat anyone.
You got to remember, Toon is the leader of this rebel cartel thing, in it. Yeah, you don't realize, he's just kicked out Spurs, brother. He's like Spurs, you are out. Just staying out.
Yeah, this ain't even about beef. This ain't even about beef. Sorry, this ain't even about beef.
Hold on. I think a lot of teams are going to be in Europe, and the league next season is going to be very different because teams will be playing Wednesday. And then Saturday or Wednesday and Sunday, innit? Or Thursday, Sunday, innit? So it's going to be very difficult. The problem I have at the moment is when Ange came out, he said the reason why the league form is so poor is because we're playing Thursday, Sunday. Now we'll be playing a higher caliber competition. I'm saying Wednesday, he's going to have to be very smart in how he rotates that team. And when he was playing... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When he was playing that team, I think the intensity of how he played is why he had so many injuries in the first place. And he didn't think, all right, cool, let me slow down the tempo and then, adapt and adjust certain games.
Why though? Because I say, for example,
go on, fair enough.
Pep just buys who can do what he wants. Do you know what I mean? Why is that the go-to that he has to? Yeah,
but remember, Pep's football is slower. That's the thing. Like, it's purposely less intensity than what Ange is basically what Klopp was, but even
Bielsa. Like, I think Bielsa for 90 minutes.
With the high line. So if he gets players,
it's because it got found out, isn't it? Like, once it got found out, you didn't do any tweaks, and that's because that disappointed me. Because I was like, right, it got found out, no tweaks, just kept on. Like when we played them, it was like we know what's going to happen. Bare space, Salah, bang. You get me? So, and I think that was the disappointment.
Let me also put it this way, yeah. Imagine they played the PSG team we played this season with those tactics, and we struggled to get close to them in the first game, right?
We need to imagine. Just think of the Liverpool.
Exactly, but we'd also say we struggle to get close to them, right? Now they'll have to do this with. I mean, don't get me wrong, some trash teams also in the Champions League, like Bodo Glimt and so on and so forth, right? But the high caliber teams, if they could get whooped 22 times in the Premier League, and then have to go play a high caliber of teams in the Champions League, and he doesn't change, it's the dopamine of winning the European League disappears when you're losing every week.
I don't think Spurs will be judged on their performances in the Champions League next season.
I was just gonna say that.
Me personally.
I was gonna say that.
One thing I'll say is that like the change in tactic as well is something, because the way we play, like I think there's a lot of managers that could at least replicate what we do currently. Because even if you look at the change in tactics, yeah, you could say, Iriola could do that. Do you know what I mean? Calmly, how he played in Europa League, he could calmly do that. Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? So from a tactical point of view, I'm looking at Ange's adaptations, but I'm also looking at the attacking play, the build up. Do you know what I mean? We played pretty well against Forest. Like, we played well against Forest, created chances, but we still conceded 2 goals and lost the game 2-0. And we played a strong team. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like even when things do go well, like when we played Newcastle away earlier in the season and we lost 2-1, we played a very good game, but we still lost 2-1. So
it happens though sometimes, Jay, man.
No, I know, but that's the problem sometimes. It's like we can play really well and we're still giving the opposition really good looks. And we're still giving the opposition a chance to win. Like, I sometimes feel like the opposition doesn't have to that well to beat us. But again, like you say, a lot of injuries, a lot of stuff went on. So I don't know whether or not Ange could definitely improve going into. One thing for me is I'd like to see him hire better assistants.
That's bingo.
Just like the assistants he has. It's like when
dude shaking his head.
When Ollie had McKenna and Carrick, and United fans would be like, "Look at these useless assistants and coaches," but they're obviously clearly good coaches because you see on their own they can coach and they know what they're doing. It's just almost like, but they're all young. They're all young coaches together who don't, know exactly what will work and what won't work. And Ange hires a lot of like younger coaches, and also we've lost coaches. Like the Birmingham manager was our coach from season 1, and he left, and he's done a good job at Birmingham. They've got promoted, but little things like that. I think I'd like to see, if he does stay, buy him some players that can really work, buy him some experience, bring in some new coaches.
Defensive. That's what you need. If you sort out your defense, bro, because you lot score goals. You lot score goals.
Or the training programs or something.
Yeah, but listen, if you speak to any Spurs fan, okay, not any Spurs, but if you speak to more Spurs fan, they actually rate their defense. Like, they actually think...
No. You're just on a wind-up.
Be serious. I have heard Spurs fans... I have said Spurs fans say Udogie's the best left back, right?
Yeah.
They talk about Van der Ven and Romero as being fantastic, as in Romero, obviously Van der Ven and his pace. Romero talk about how he won the World Cup. And they talk about Porro in terms of his delivery. So, like, if you speak to like a lot of Spurs fans, they look at the back four and go, "It's a pretty good back four." There was a time they were saying Vicario is the best goalkeeper in the league. So in my mind, I'm like, if that back five in some of the Spurs fans is that good, then the amount of goals they're conceding can't be down to the players. It's going to be down to the manager, right? Because if people say on an individual basis, those players are good, how can you upgrade on something that people think is already pretty good?
So bingo. They're exposed sorry, Mitch, because you're going to say something logical. Hold on, yeah. So you two Spurs, man, how do you feel that Olu used some of your retarded fans and their opinions to come here and attack your team? How do you feel? Because I've noticed that happens a lot with us.
He has got some validity to it. So at the start of the season, no. To the start of the season, there's a lot of people that were rating Van der Ven and Romero as a partnership, one of the best partnerships in the league. However, a lot of the fan base did turn on Romero, but now they've kind of flipped back to Romero because we've won the cup. So now they're saying Romero is like one of our best centre-backs, one of our best players. So I think the overriding issue with Spurs and Ange's system is the protection in front of the back two. Because when we have the ball, we play with 2 centre-backs and then more or less the whole team pushes
the fact you just said back 2 is wild, by the way. That should never, ever be the case. Like, why has he just got 2 men at the back? You can't just have a back 2 at any time.
It depends on the game state you wind up, Mitch.
That is crazy.
But yeah, so he has the 2 centre-backs and then pretty much everyone pushes forward. And then our defensive midfielder, we don't really have... Well, this is what the fan base generally say. We don't really have a strong number 6. someone that kind of protects when we lose the ball to clean up. And
That's
we've got
Van de Ven, though.
No, we've got the 2 defenders, Van de Ven and Romero.
And he's been injured quite a lot, no?
No. But in front, that's not a problem. Van de Ven's not a problem. Romero's not a problem. Let's just keep with that. So we've got the 2 centre backs, but they're saying the player in front of him, he's not protecting them. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not protecting the 2 defenders. And that's why we're so exposed on either channel, left or right. Because I think with Ange's system, he expects that defensive midfielder to cover the left and to cover the right. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, put it like this. Having Saliba, Gabriel and Saliba, the 2 centre backs, and then saying, look, I'm just going to have Partey as the lone 6, and he's got to do all the work to clean up. That's basically our defense. Do you get it now?
And that's why I said it must be the manager, because one thing about Arsenal is this: Arsenal get back in shape quickly. That's why it's quite boring sometimes. But the speed of trying to get back into shape and like defend together is, and that's what I always say about Arsenal is like Arsenal defend as a team. Spurs seems to defend as individuals in most instances, right? Listen, I'm saying this. I feel bad for Van de Ven. He is too tall and he's too big to be that quick. And if he keeps having to do 40-yard sprints every game, his hamstring will tear off the bone. Like, you don't like his size. He should be doing that. His speed is freakish for his size, basically.
But yeah, hey, that's why his hamstring keep tearing.
And then make it. I couldn't get the words out properly, man.
I'm Slim Shady.
Nah, man. I was sounding like a CD that was jumping right there, man. But my point is still though, right? Like, making them have to defend as individuals is something that has to change, because ultimately, look, Spurs have won the Europa League. Congratulations to them.
So say that again.
Soon. I've still got smoke, right?
We want to see this smoke, Ollie. You spent a whole £2 on the super chat to tell us about the smoke. I want to see the smoke for £2.
I would have done £5, but I hate this guy right now, Because,
Wait.
You were talking smoke before that game at the Emirates, right? Oh, we're gonna come over here, we're gonna beat Arsenal, we're gonna be finished.
Where was I talking smoke?
On this very platform, and
you mentioned you beat us 3 or 4 times the whole season. I had to hear that.
I remember
we didn't talk about that.
I remember exactly, and you know what?
When it counted.
And I messaged Ash and I said, we've got the Europa League, and I felt so much pain. So the hatred in my heart has been brewing now for over 2 weeks. Yeah, I told you about your thugs coming to the Emirates, right? I'm so happy that Joe Linton guy didn't find a way to come
in. I know you're happy that he wasn't playing.
Now, you know what? Can we speak about that then, You know what's mad, Because I think, you know what's annoying? I think this season, because we've done the silly stuff and focused on bigger fish, you lot have had to, you lot have prepared for us every time we've played, and we've just played you. This time, we had fuck all going on and we prepared for you. And it was different. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud. He put the league on the back burner, focused on the Champions League. Unfortunately, got knocked out to PSG. Came back after throwing away some points and still got second. This second means more to me than the 2 previously.
I'm glad that you put your heart and soul into it, man.
Because we beat the League Cup winners. To second. Because you lot are the 3rd best team in the world. You could easily been the league. You could have easily been the 2nd.
5th.
We finished 5th in the end, jinx.
Oh fuck! I still think you're the 3rd best team though.
It was squeaky bum.
What ahead of who? Man City.
Yeah, fuck it, man. They're over, man.
Nah, we're not better than Man City.
That hate has been brewing. That's why that £2 was the best £2 I saw.
Look at the mighty have fallen. Before you would even think about Newcastle.
Do you know what?
1998 was my favourite time now, right? When we spanked 2-0 past you in the FA Cup final. That's right. My hate
went way back.
Do
you know how many times you've beat us since 1998? You didn't have to go all the way back there, bro.
That's crazy.
No, my hate is so strong right now that I'm going all the way back to 1998.
But we kind of, our games do have a derby kind of vibe now, though. I must commend.
Since there was a game at the Emirates where we came and we just parked the bus and kicked the shit out of you. Since then, there has been real hatred in this game.
Yeah, you guys are like, what's the word I can think of? You know when like an aristocrat can't believe like a pauper can.
Yeah. Who are these peasants coming to the Emirates and get a 0-0 draw?
Man, Eddie. I mean, Arteta says after every game, Eddie Howe's a good coach. He respects what they've done. Everybody says you've done it the right way. I say the same.
Yeah, no, they like Eddie Howe. They just hate Jason Tindall. I think.
Who's that?
He's the assistant guy with the orange assistant guy with the really white teeth.
They all hate him, man.
What happened? Something happened.
He's just one of the biggest wind-ups guy, and he'd like near enough all the teams hate him.
In the tunnels and stuff. He got charged for having a fight to them, the Aston Villa team.
I don't know who this guy is, but I like him.
Do you know how loads of other fans hate your set piece coach?
Yeah.
Jason Tindall's that guy for us. Yeah. he's that guy for us, and he does our set pieces. So maybe it's just a set piece thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he had a fight with the Villa guys in the tunnel, then came out with a Wham shirt with
him and Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
See, I like that.
He's grimy, bro. He's grimy.
But sorry to pivot back here because I had one more point on Angier. You see how he's saying that they get left exposed, and you see talking about Arteta in terms of we get back in shape well and we defend well and all that stuff. Yeah, our build up is a lot slower because we build up in a safe shape. So this is why I think if Ange can get someone who can incorporate that into what he does, I think they can do well, man.
Yeah, I think because we haven't seen it. I think that's concerns because when he was like, "This is who we are, mate," and we kind of play fast and we play lots of short passes. There's more risk from playing out from the back, and that's why we've conceded so many goals from playing out from the back. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Bournemouth's a little bit different. When they risk it higher up the pitch and they risk it wide as well. So Iriol is slightly different. Each manager, they've got their styles. Do you know what I mean? And some work and some like teams know how Ange wants to build up. And I think some of the fans were saying, if you can tweak that, then, and I think, you know what it is? It's not like men are saying like, yo, Ange is clueless, you know, he's a PE teacher and and like, and it's not like we're not grateful for the actual cup win. I just think for some Spurs fans, not all Spurs fans, so for some Spurs fans, there's concerns going into next season if there is no tweaks in the way we build up. If there,
that wasn't just for me, was it?
No, it's everybody.
Jay, you got to pick up where you left off.
There's not tweaks where, when, how, and where.
Centre backs and then one midfielder by himself.
It was like he was about to try.
And then the fullbacks.
Hey, Ash, you cut out. You cut out, Ash.
So sometimes,
can you hear us?
He's lagging.
It looks like he's
and
they just want to.
That's just spitting fire. We just can't hear it, bro. He just gave the best tactical breakdown you've ever heard. By the way,
won't be able to repeat it for ever again. That was this one shot, explaining exactly where Ange needed. If Ange was recording this, he could save his job.
Yeah, you cut out, Ash. What was you saying?
Yeah, well, you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, no,
yeah, we can now.
Do you remember what you were saying?
He's lagging.
I was just saying. Am I still lagging?
No,
you're good. You should be good.
Say 5.
Yeah, but we're all waiting for you. We've all been waiting.
I think he's still a bit. I think he's still a bit behind. There's a guy in the chat that just keeps saying, "Just don't lose the ball." Like that's like for every team in the world. If you never lose the ball, you never lose a game, bro. Stop saying that.
Man's like all of this tactical waffle that Ash is about to drop into. Just don't lose the ball, man.
Yeah, that's it. Just keep the ball forever. Have 99% possession in every game, and you won't lose.
He's been literally
Ashley is saying how many times have we lost the ball without any pressure?
He's it's players, man.
But Ashley never understands. Like, is that not indicative of a team that has players that don't know what they're precisely meant to do?
Right.
Or maybe they can't do it.
Or maybe they can't do it. Maybe they can't execute what the manager wants them to execute.
Yeah.
Because and you know what, because I don't know what's wrong with me. I think it's like a mental thing I have here. Because I remember specific things people say, but I don't remember exactly who it is. So Ten Hag came in and wanted to play Ajax football at Man U. Couldn't do it. Developed a style which won him 2 trophies in 2 years.
And said, just fucking do it, mate.
Yeah, and then got crucified. Do you get what I mean? And sacked, even though he changed his principles to match his players. So if it and he's saying I need better. Basically, he's not saying it, but from the performances and when there's a few injuries, he doesn't have the squad to keep up the style of the play he wants to play.
Yeah,
and so he needs better players to do that.
Yeah,
but then he's still going to be crucified for not changing it to match the so you're damned. I've heard so many narratives and so many things apply to other people that don't apply to other people doing this football thing that I'm genuinely lost of where we're at with it.
I think it's standards and expectation of the club though. Like you're not good. Like for example, like in a way now, like last season didn't really seem as much. For me now, it's kind of different. Like the League Cup, you get me. Like Newcastle just done. Well, you didn't do third anyway. You almost done third.
Almost. You shouldn't. Have that.
Yeah. Almost. I forgot you didn't turn up third. You get me. It's not gonna make sense now. You get me.
No, he said, "Fuck your team,
Arsenal, you're this close to being on our blog. You're this close to being on our blog.
I hope you didn't say Arsenal because
you are this close, my friend. Because you guys are saying
you lot are ahead of us though. You won a trophy.
Nah, no. We won a trophy, but as a team, as a squad, we're not.
So what? You lot are not happy as well?
Very happy.
I'm happy. I'm delighted.
I'm
delighted, but I'm not gonna be shameless and say we're better than Arsenal. And none of that stuff. Because I am delighted of where we are. Delighted. Next season, if we break 70 points, I'll be even happier. But I'm not going to turn around and say we're on levels with Arsenal.
And you're challenging on the biggest stages.
Yeah.
As well. That's that element there. You get me? So like everyone wants to get. You get to a point and you're gonna want more. You get to a point, you're gonna want more.
Olu, why are you shaking your head?
Why are you shaking your head, Olu? 2 weeks ago, you weren't this humble. I don't like this. This change. You, Toon.
Me?
You were talking smoke. No, Toon was talking smoke. I told you. I remember. I'm gonna find a clip of you saying you're gonna come and it's gonna be 4 times you.
Please find the clip.
All right.
To be fair, my line was, please don't let us beat you 4 times because then I will be shameless. Like, that was my line, and you beat us, so I can't even do the shameless thing.
But now you get to say you won 2 trophies.
We're progressing nicely.
And you beat Newcastle. That's
what I mean. Right?
I'll leave shameless to him. He can do shameless for both of us.
What's going on here?
Sorry, it's past midnight. That's why I'm just getting. Sorry, Ash, you was in the middle of that. You were saying something.
No. It's. I kind of lost my train of thought, but it was basically
Ange, no.
No. It was just about how we played.
Oh, back 2 and all that shit.
Just the fullbacks.
Okay, pushing. But actually, remember you were saying the one time you did do the long ball and you didn't have the wingers that are good enough to kind of essentially fight. I don't know the pace, athleticism.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember who the wingers were. Was it Tell and who?
Odegaard.
But those are the wingers that you guys bought. So
it is the wingers we
So
bought.
then, therefore, are you getting things already wrong in the recruitment stage?
This is the worrying thing. So the argument is from some fans that we need better players, and that's the reason why the system's not working. And obviously, Odegaard was injured for a lot of the season. Now he came back for the last part, and then we recruited Tell in January. And again, the fan base is slightly divided on Tell whether we should buy him or not, if he's good enough or not. But it's just, we'll find out this summer, innit? If we do keep Ange, we still need to recruit in those wide areas, and then in the midfield and
but this
as well.
is the problem, like people love like I'm like we bought a lot of young players, like
Yeah, it's more experience we need.
our squad is young, and I feel like we've got a decent amount of talent in there, but it's one of those where you see like Barcelona and stuff, and you see of it, Flick's not that crazy different from how Ange plays. There is obviously tactical variations, but the player quality difference is so big. Do you know what I mean? Like
We said it at the start.
Pardon?
We said it at the start. We said if we're going to play the style of football, you need
the player quality. But that makes me think when I watch Enrique, I look at some of his players, and you can get highly technical players for not. Do you know what I mean? As in, like people. I don't think an Enrique squad is crazy expensive to build.
No, it's not.
You could build.
Is Enrique attacking? You mean at Barca or PSG?
The PSG squad. You could build like a duplicate version of that, like which would be inferior.
They've spent bare money though,
That's what I'm saying. But when you start looking at
they moved away from that kind of
typical.
But when you start looking at the Barcolas and the Vitinhas, the Dues, the Pachos, even the Hakimis to an extent, it's like, well, he's probably costly. But since in the last few years, that 40-50 million pound bracket, you can get slightly.
That's a safer bet than above that.
That's what I'm saying. But you could get you could go and buy say Wharton from the Championship. You can duplicate the model with inferior players, and you would have got something good.
And you know why I love that you said PSG, because it goes back to the style of play. Because you look crucify Ange for what he's trying to do, but that's an elite. You get that right, that is an elite style of play. That's not like you see, like in the chat, someone was like, "Oh, that's like Forest playing on the front foot," because Forest. Your style of play is a more elite style of play than Forest. Even if Forest do what they do to the pinnacle, and you do, you're always going to come out.
Yeah.
To keep it simple, I've always said this. I love the idea of it. It's the execution. And that's where I'm at moving forward. My concerns are, can this club deliver what Ange wants? Or does he have to go elsewhere where he can be more successful to duplicate what his style of football needs? You know what I mean?
Also, from a confusion point of view, like, for example, when you look at like a Sarr or something, like, to me, a player like that is confusing because it's like in your vision, Ange, of technical security and high quality thing, like, does that player fit in? Ange didn't want players like Lo Celso and stuff. It's just sometimes there's inconsistent squad decisions, which make me think, but like, you make good points about the player quality.
Let me ask you a question, Jay. If you take 5 of our defenders and put in your squad, where do you think you finish next season?
5 of your defenders?
Yeah, any 5 you want, like just your whole defense from our squad. Or forget us. Say Liverpool, because they got the best. They won the league.
If we took your defense, I think compared to this season, I think we would. I think, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I think we would. Is this me saying that I think Arsenal have a better defense? Probably.
Yeah, they do.
Or even take Liverpool's.
Do they play how Ange plays? Or do they play how your defense plays?
Exactly.
That's the biggest question here, because you could put your defense in their team. If they play how Ange wants them to play, they'll end up in a similar situation.
They won't concede nowhere near as much. They might not score as much, but they won't concede nowhere near as much.
But they're left a lot more exposed in Ange's system. Whereas the way you play, you have a guy that sits in front that barely goes anywhere. Only one of your fullbacks invert, so normally you shuffle around into a back three and stuff like that, which makes you a lot more solid as a team. Whereas Ange at times just does leave 2 at the back, and then they're left in such an exposed position. That's why they concede goals.
I mean, you could make the argument. Do you remember versus Bournemouth when Saliba got sent off? Was it Saliba?
Yeah.
You can make the argument that for Spurs centre backs, that's 6 times a game.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
And also as well.
Sorry, Olive.
I was going to say that also, but if you look at Porro, for example, Porro is always facing a man one-on-one. Like almost every single time he's defending, he's having to defend one-on-one, right? When it's Timber, look how close players around to Timber are. So it's less on a one-on-one situation. And if it's a one-on-one, how quickly they shuffle back. And that's where it still comes back to is how you implement. You can take any player you want in the world, right? We saw bloody Cannavaro go to Real Madrid and look a mess. And he had just won the Ballon d'Or, playing for Italy and won the World Cup, right? And he couldn't settle in Real Madrid because Real Madrid were playing like freestyle football, basically. Like you can take anyone and put him in, and if you don't have the right sort of system and tactics, which people shit on these days in terms of a system, but if you don't have that, it's difficult to then say to a player, right, do exactly what you did in a different team. This is why it's not easy just to say take Arsenal's team, Arsenal's defense, give it to Spurs, because Andrew also has to fundamentally change how he approaches football, which is less about.
But don't we play high line, Olu?
Yeah, but we play a high line, but our high line is still controlled. And it's all about
because we have the players to do it. Because we have big space players, isn't it? A lot of our players are big space players.
That's fair, but
sorry, go on. Sorry.
I also think though that there is, I don't want to say intelligence, but there is almost I think everything with Arsenal is there's a reason behind what they're doing, right? And I feel like sometimes with Spurs is more less freestyle as we're going along. Let's figure it out. And that's why Spurs are so exciting to watch.
Yeah,
right.
I would agree.
Arsenal less exciting.
Yeah, I'd also add to that. I think when Arsenal play in possession, you will have, like Ollie was saying, 3 at the back, and then a 2 in front. Do you understand? So essentially, when you have possession, sometimes you have 4 to 5 players that are sitting behind the ball effectively. Do you see what I'm saying? Am I making sense? When you're watching Arsenal, you'll see like a back 3. You will see like Timber sometimes. He will not push forward. He would shuffle along, and then in front of Gabriel and Saliba, you have either Party. So they all take turns. Do you know what I mean? They don't all just. And I think with Ange, he likes freedom. Do you know what I mean? So he wants the players to figure it out, and he doesn't want it to be so systematic or so robotic. He wants players to have that level of intelligence where they figure it out. Do you know what I mean? And that's why you see him on the sidelines, and he's not really as active. Which is nothing wrong with that.
He needs better players, then, isn't it?
Well, these players are different with higher IQ.
That can make more decisions.
It might be the type of manager he is. Yeah? Have you been go-karting? Yeah. There's always a man that don't use their brakes.
He gets the best lap time, but it might go home with an injury.
They can use it, but they don't use the brakes. And it might be that he don't care about defense.
But you know what's mad, though?
4-2 all the time. 4-2. We will win. 5-3. That's what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah. You score 3, we'll score 4.
Yeah,
but you know what the mad thing is, though, because you remember Arteta's Pep's cold man. It's his first job. He's not experienced. He don't know what he's doing. He's crap, but he can organize a defense.
Yeah,
I think organize, and I've probably said this before. I think organizing a defense is easier than organizing an attack to score goals. And I've seen Ange score so many goals. Yeah. And it's so clear in how obvious if he had Arteta as a defensive coach, we're all finished.
I'm telling you this. No, if Ange had like the Real Madrid players like Roberto Carlos and them days there, woo! Them man, they didn't care about defense.
They play 1-1-8.
They got overdrug.
I think he's that guy, fam. He don't care about defense because that's what I'm starting to believe, bro. Like,
go on. Sorry.
Can I just ask something just to educate me because I was baffled when you said it. What is a big space player? I'm not on a wind up here at all. I just want to know what it is.
So you see, like
when I hear it again,
you see Gabriel.
Yeah.
He kind of, because our left back inverts, he covers the left centre back and the left back to a degree. Do you know what I mean? He can handle that. Like Maguire's not a big space player.
Got it now. So like, he needs the phone. Joelinton and Tonali could be considered big space players because they can cover the ground needed. Open gaps.
Maguire needs a phone box.
So basically, it's down to the manager to recognize what tools he has. his kit.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes.
And if you're saying then, okay,
but sorry to cut you, but is it though? Because then you get Ten Hag. Do you get what I mean?
How do you mean?
Because Angie's on, listen, we're doing it this way, mate, and I need the players to do it this way. Because I'm an elitist manager. I don't want to play Man U, Nottingham Forest. Yeah. I don't want to play that ball. That's beneath me.
Yeah, but isn't that the ball that got him his trophies?
Facts. So if he gets better players to play that ball more regularly, and when he gets injured and it won't cost him, he'll be able to keep that style to a high level and do better in multiple competitions.
No, 100%. I'm just saying that, like, obviously, Ange needs better players. But the thing is that if you're going to basically gamble on Ange's system being good enough when you get the players, you've got the gamble of saying that, is it going to be good enough when we get the players, regardless? What is the ceiling on his tactical ability and ability to show that on the team? And you've got to take that into account, I think, now, off a 17th league position, because I think you need to give him, again, time, because, you know, the one thing he's shown me is that obviously he can manage quite badly at times, but like 4 competitions. Because obviously, if we do get a new manager next season, that manager needs to have experience of managing multiple competitions. You can't then go and bring in a manager who's not been managing in Europe or been managing.
But should you even take Champions League that seriously? Like I think just.
Jarrett,
you won't.
Bro, stop it, bro.
If anybody but you said that too, I think that might have worked. If anybody but you said that.
We made the final in the last 6 years. People think we're just here to make up numbers, bro.
I think he wants
2 European finals.
No. Just one moment. Let me just finish what I'm saying. Because if we're being on, like, it just giving a little bit honestly, if it wasn't for the Europa, and if we're just looking at league form, you do not deserve to be in the Champions League. And not only, it's not by deserving, you're not ready as a team to be in the Champions League.
Right. Hold on.
So you've taken.
Whoa. I think he can just make that point and just saunter down the road. Can you explain?
I'm about to explain it.
Explain to me why the 5th best team in England deserves to be in the Champions League next season.
Okay, forget the deserve part.
Of the Europa League.
Forget the deserve part. What I mean is
Champions League spot for winning it.
So
why is 5th place in the Premier League?
Lola's loving this.
I use the wrong word, deserve.
Well, I think so.
Okay, the league table. Do you agree the league table shows at the end of the league table?
To Everton, people are bitter, you know.
Shows you who you are.
That gunny's been trolling.
No, he's been firing. He's typing so quick that he can't even spell words correctly. Just firing off message after message.
It's very aggressive, so I'm going to say he. Yeah. He don't like you.
Maybe like I think because you're going to get the Champions League money anyway and everything else on top of that. What if you use this as an opportunity to build up your squad to like just do well in the Premier League and just spend whatever time you have in the Champions League, use it, but don't put your all in it, but just use it as a time to build up your team. Because if you're going to go hell for leather in every domestic competition, and I think Ange is recruiting poorly so far. Because if he's already spent how much has he spent? 300-400 million, and you still haven't got players that you like or players that's good enough for your system, that there's a warning there. 66 games, 1 point per game is a warning there. I don't know how many warnings you guys are going to get to kind of get to the point where you're like saying, yeah, this is a bad idea. Or we need someone that can take the philosophy of what he's got, but harness it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So that's my kind of overall point of it. I think the Champions League is a good thing, but at the same time, if you allow yourselves to think that you're going to, progress and trying to win it, you might damage yourselves even further in the Premier League, and you might find yourselves relegated.
Jay, don't take it.
And what would you rather, yeah? Knowing what Toon
here we go.
Knowing what Toon just said, yeah? Would you rather know next season, yeah, having a poor league finish, like relegation battle. Yeah.
Say relegation. Just say relegation.
Relegation, but you get relegation battle.
That's too much, man.
You
Relegation.
got Champions League final.
Champions League final.
Do we definitely?
Would you rather wait? Hold on, I ain't finished the other side. That's just one part. Yeah.
Okay. Relegation battle and Champions.
The other side is you get a new manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all you do is have a good run in the league.
Okay.
Now, what's a good run though? Top 5, yeah? Top 6.
It's the Champions League final. Do I know the result?
No. Yeah.
I don't know the result.
You know what you deserve. What you get, Jay.
Okay, I know the
result. You deserve what you get. You deserve what you get.
When you say good run in the league, do I know exactly where we'd finish in the league, or is it just I just know we're gonna have a good run?
Answer the comments as well.
Yeah.
What's the comment?
Good run, like
good run. So you qualify for Champions League back through the league.
We can do that. We can do that.
But
so you qualify for Champions League through the league,
but
you go out in the
tell me more about this Champions League final.
Remember the Champions League final. The Champions League final.
Who's on the other side of the Champions League final?
The Champions League final is with Ange.
It's with Ange.
It's with Ange. Yeah. So
okay.
You're gonna have the same. You're gonna have the same league battle relegation. Okay. It gets you to a Champions League final.
Okay.
Would you rather that or a new manager? And a good run. And
relegation in the location.
Hey. If that happens,
I'm pointing that t-shirt.
You can't do that.
I'll be your first customer of that t-shirt. I promise you.
If there's even a hint of a relegation battle, I'm going to buy all the non-Tottenham fans one of those.
Man,
that is.
You know what the maddest thing is though, Ash? You could have finished second. You still would have got this banner. It don't matter what happens. It don't matter what happens. You got a trophy, bro. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Whose trophy's worth more, yours or Magpies?
You see, he's looking at deflection. Faze is evil. He's an evil guy, bro. Look at the deflection, bro.
But Jay, I think also like you didn't realize what Toon just did to you as well. He just said basically, how about you just enjoy your little Wednesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Wednesdays, have a nice run out, play mess around the Champions League. Don't do so well, that's not gonna happen.
Man just said, don't worry about AC Milan and them, man. Worry about Leeds and Sunderland.
They called you the reggae boys.
Guys, though, it's kind of agenda versus facts, though, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, facts don't care about your feelings. 2 European finals in the last 6 years, so you run all the jokes that you want. The fact of the matter remains, that we are a good, if not very good, European side over the last few years. So we'll take our chances in the draw. You guys concentrate on trying to get out the group stages.
Yeah, but Jay, Jay,
something
tells me we'll be all right.
The difference is you were good. You were good in the Europe and in the league. And you're only good in
Bro, listen, with all due respect, your league form dramatically improved after your asses got kicked out of Europe. So like I hear what you're saying about like
how many games did you play this season? This season? Yeah. How many games did you guys play this season?
Enough games to be in the Champions
League. You're not allowed context. No, Jay, don't even respond. You're not allowed context. You're not allowed no context allowed, Jay. Be shameless.
I don't need to participate in these kind of conversations for at least 12 months. Just being honest. Like, too, we're a pair. Like, don't be trying to look down on us because you finished.
I don't want to get rid of it. What's that?
That message, you see that? Of course, I forgot about that when Spurs lost to Zagreb, whose manager was in jail. Forgot all about that.
Oh, bro.
They lost to man. Man was sneaking phones into jail, and they lost to that guy.
We get it. You had some good jokes that you didn't get to use anymore.
That's a good one, though. I didn't know that.
This guy was like, "Oh, I see another opportunity to tick another one off the list."
Seriously, you know how many years of material I've lost?
Years
of material.
I was gonna change it quickly. I know I've got 10 minutes left, but I was gonna ask about
just to say, you guys played 60 competitive. You guys played 60 competitive games, right? We played 54.
60,
they played more games than you.
60 seems a bit light.
No, they played 60. We played 54.
How?
So there is, if you want to continue down this road of, it's just you'll be all right.
Europa setup,
that doesn't sound Toon. That doesn't sound right.
That's what
the league set up in Europa would have meant they played more.
Toon, that's
because they went further in Europe.
Hey, that's right.
Well, we didn't have Europe at all, did we?
Didn't you?
You played one game more than us in the League Cup.
We got the quarterfinal to the FA Cup, and we got to the final.
And you played maybe 2 games more.
No, wait, why weren't you not in the Europe?
And we
Man
played
United won the FA Cup.
We played like 12 games
got
in the Europa League, didn't we? 15 games.
Where'd you finish?
So we played like 40 games more than you.
That's not Europe no more.
No,
it would have been, but because of the way it worked out, Man United beat Man City in the final and took the spot.
Yeah, but what about the conference?
I went to Chelsea.
No, the conference goes to the Carabao Cup winners, didn't it?
Newcastle played.
Chelsea finished like 12th and won the Carabao Cup, so they get the Conference League.
Yeah. That's liberty.
Newcastle played 38 Premier League games, 6 in the FA Cup, and 7 in the League Cup.
There's no way you played 6 FA Cup.
Hold on, sorry, they used these. Friendly, so it's 51 games for us.
Nah, how did they play 6 FA Cup games? Is no one checking these things?
That's what it says on here.
There's no way. What round did you get?
So what does that mean that Spurs played more games?
So just a little bit, they played more games than us. But my point is, like,
I was there a little. What?
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Let him land.
You're gone.
The point is essentially, so because you guys were saying I was trying to belittle Spurs by saying don't take the Champions League seriously. It isn't that I'm belittling. I'm trying to be honest and saying, if you take this Champions League seriously, whilst you've got a manager that I personally don't believe in, recruitment that's this poor, and you've already got relegation form, you will get relegated. Like, it's a very, very high chance you're going to get relegated if you can continue in this way. Jay's like, but I won the Champions League, I won the Europa, like, it's going to be okay.
I think you should use the Champions League to get some money in.
Yeah, that's it. Just play, be smart.
I would do that.
What if they win it though?
Oh, sheesh, bro. Okay, cool. You see,
end the show.
End the stream day.
Well, they've made it to a final. They won the Europa.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Anything? You don't know how tournament bowl. Did Chelsea deserve to win against Bayern?
FaZe wants your demise. He hates you guys.
No, I don't.
No.
No, because as hypothetical as you're being negative, it's as hypothetical as I could be positive. No, why only you allowed to be hypothetical?
I'm not being hypothetical. I know what games. I'm just giving you the number games they've played. It is a fact that after 66 games or whatnot, they've got 1 point per game. They're 17th in the league. Yes, they scored lots of goals. I think, was it -1 goal difference you guys finished on? Because you scored how many goals? 64. You conceded 65. That is insane, bro.
Yeah, so with a help defensively.
Injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think we're gonna I think we'll buy one defender, but do you think we'll buy like invest heavily on our defense
with your Europa League money? Not to mention you're gonna get Champions League money, Jay.
I'd like to see it now. Just like an Ange first, like when Ange first came, I think Vicario, Udogie, Van der Ven, Maddison, they all came into the team. And that all together they cost like 120 million, if that. So it's like we increased the quality of the team.
Yeah.
Didn't cost crazy amounts. If we can get another window like that, where you can get like 4 first team players or players that can really like affect the first team, like for like between 100 and 150, I'll be happy, and that should be enough for whoever's in charge next season.
So I'm saying defensively, because I think that was he said we conceded 65. We scored 64, but we conceded 65. So he's basically indicating that we need to work on our defense a little bit more. Well, not a little bit more, a lot more. And so do you think Spurs, in terms of our recruitment, we're going to focus on that side of things, or do you think we'll be more focusing on other areas?
I think maybe like a left centre back, somebody who can play left back. I think Davies will get replaced. But other than that,
So do you think that'll be enough to kind of prop her up in terms of like conceding so many goals?
I like I said, I think we've got good defenders. Like I thought it was.
I ain't got no manners, Toon.
She said he's got good defenders, bro. He conceded 65 goals.
But they were injured.
They were injured though, with context, innit?
Okay, Christian Romero and Van der Ven were out 14, 15 games.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but okay, they came back. Did you stop conceding goals all of a sudden when they came back?
How many Premier League games has Van der Ven started this season?
Let me check.
Has he even started like 12?
Yeah, I reckon it's
15. I think, off the top of my head.
Van der Ven. Transfer market.
Why is it not saying it? Hold on. You put Mickey.
I've got to accept cookies. I hate accepting cookies, man.
Same.
Yeah, adverts about he's only had 13 Premier League games.
Who? How many has he started?
Mickey Van der Ven. He's had 13 Premier League games and got 2 assists. Let me see detailed.
Yeah, I mean, the assist against Man United. Remember that one?
Yeah, you're right. 13 appearances. Started 12. Started 12 games, but it's like, do you reckon like Mickey Van der Ven can improve on that for next season?
Yeah, I think you should be aiming like we should be looking at.
This is what I'm trying to say. It's not even about improvements. He was injured.
Why was he fit then? Do you think he can stay fit for a longer period? Is the question.
But what about this though, Ash? What about if you see Brighton, they sell him, they replace him. What about if you get someone who's maybe not as big name, but his attributes that he has, you buy someone in that mold. He can take
I would love that. That would
be the big glitz and glamour. If you
I don't need big names.
Yeah,
like what you said about Pierce. If you get someone who can just facilitate the style of play, so you have more depth, I think it will make a big difference. Yeah. And it could, as Boone said, it could go left, but it could work.
See, I think that if you including the injuries here, if you brought players that could support the ones, it's the support in it, like your main players. Yeah, the squad depth.
You've got to raise the floor, innit?
Yeah.
You considered 15 in those 12 games, so it's not too bad. With Van der Ven.
Yeah, but I think obviously you've also got to factor in, and I think in one of those games it was like maybe the Chelsea game or whatever.
So it's not too bad.
When they got injured.
It's not too bad.
Dudes are wide enough.
That's my point. As in, like, obviously, Toon, I remember when you came to our stadium, you had injuries and we slapped you up. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not here saying that's okay. It's cool.
Obviously,
that's not cool. That's not what we're saying.
It seems like you say it's cool when prompted to say it's cool, but otherwise, you're happy to leave that it's cool off the official.
You're calm with it. Finish it. I know what happened to my team when we finished 17th, and the following year we didn't change. We got relegated. If you're okay with that,
see, Toon, this is why I said no context.
Bro, you were run by
Mike. You should throw the trophy away.
Correct. You were run by Mike Ashley.
All right, Levy's gonna. So
bro, come on, don't compare Mike Ashley to Levy. That's
right. I'm not comparing it. I'm saying I think
you're leaving it in the air for it to simmer.
You're leaving it in the air. I just don't want you guys to get relegated. To be honest with you, but
do you think they get relegated though? Seriously,
they nearly got relegated this season. They're just lucky the other teams are worse than them.
But injuries and they focused on something else, which they won.
Everybody has injuries. We had the same amount of injuries as them.
No, but it's not. That's not the same thing though, because not everybody has injuries, but some players are way more important to certain styles of play than others.
All right, can I ask a question? We're working on the extremes here. We're working too much on extremes. Do you think a good season for Spurs would be next season finishing 10th? Anyone on the panel?
It depends.
Context needs to be provided, I suppose.
So I think
Spurs will be minimum expectation on the Ange Postecoglou.
Top eight should be minimum.
I will say top 6.
I agree with that.
Why?
Sorry?
Why? What shit? What did I say? Why for? Yeah. Why is not top 6 or top 8 horrendous in considering the context of who may finish above you? This league is very competitive.
I think it's Point. I think more points tally. Like, are you closer to the top 6, or are you part of that? You know, like the league always splits. Like, I think even this season, in it between 8th and 9th, there's a.
It's gotta be top 6 because nobody wants to play Conference League.
Sorry, you know, I just realized why. You know, I just realized my why. Yeah. So let's go down your hypothetical highway. Top 8, top 6 now. Yeah. You don't make it. What now?
Look at why.
Yeah. Someone's
like,
just
you know what I mean?
Someone's just a 10th is a disgrace. You finished
it isn't for
7th.
Tottenham Hotspur. It's a disgrace, bro. Like, do you know who we are? Fuck me now. You know
you've just finished 17th. It's an improvement.
Tottenham Hotspur, European champions.
It's still factually an improvement on this season.
Who's this season's top 8?
No. Wait.
Let me check.
Wait. See, listen, guys, we just stop this whole European champions. Listen, you're the Intercontinental Champions. This is WWE, right? You're not the WWE champion. You're the Intercontinental champion.
No, but we do like the Intercontinental champions.
Yeah. The Intercontinental Championship was a bad boy championship back in the day.
You're washed.
You are TV champions.
Team is crazy.
WTW champion, right? Chelsea are what? Title. That's what's happening right now. So stop this European champion nonsense, okay?
Wait. Can we be the hardcore champions then if we've got the Carabao Cup?
So hold on, is Europa League?
Well, you're hating from the outside and you can't even get in the club. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're right. But is Europa League champions of Europe?
I didn't say champions.
It's a champion of Europe, yeah.
All right, so are Leeds a champion of England?
I mean, back in the day,
they're a champion in England.
Right now.
Whereas whoever wins Saturday is the champion of Europe.
So how much times have you won the championship, Newcastle? Because surely you ain't had a 70-year trophy drought then.
We won it twice.
Bro, listen,
you ain't having a 70-year trophy drought then, innit?
We are a European.
Do you get what I mean?
Champion. We're not champions of Europe.
I tried to have this argument with someone once, Chinks, and they just shut me down.
It's not. But when the shoes on the other foot now, they're champions of Europe.
Hey,
Intercontinental champion.
I would take it. I watched our team lift the championship twice. We won a league, bro.
Facts.
Tell man over Hackney Marshes on a Sunday that league don't count because it's too low down. It's a league title. You're a league champion.
I'm with Mitch. I'm with Mitch. If no one dropping out of the Champions League, Europa League winners can be champions of Europe, Newcastle have been champions of England.
And Arsenal champions of Emirates.
At the time,
not champions of.
Yeah, I'm saying we're European champions. Not champions of Europe. There's a difference.
No. It's the same thing.
It's not.
No, champions of Europe makes it sound like you're like champions of Europe.
Thank you.
Like whole of Europe. You're the champions.
Thank you.
You're a champion in Europe, bro. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what you're
trying to
Yoda
thing.
My brain is filling nonsense around my words. European champion is not champions of Europe.
You said there was an S on the end every single time until that point. You're European champions.
We are European champions.
No, you're a European champion.
Like
European champion, not European champions.
Europe. We're European champions.
You can't be using the same wording.
It's not, listen, it's not my fault.
You know exactly what you're doing. You're a clever man that knows his words. You know exactly what you're doing.
This is the bit where you're like Stefan.
What I'm gonna say is, where are you guys watching the Super Cup? That's what I want to know.
I don't even watch that. What is that?
It's like the European Charity Shield.
Does that count?
European Charity Shield. Have some fucking respect.
I always say, Oliver, it's a big 50p. Is it a big
50p? Is it a cup or
yeah? Does that count?
But the thing is, it does. I think
it should count. It counts.
It does.
As what?
The thing is, I swear down, the final, because Klopp had to do it, and he couldn't manage one of the Premier League games, and we had to get we had the squad players to play it. We had to play Everton or something like that. I can't remember, but because the games were so close,
it affected the league performance.
Yeah, are you willing to do that for the Super Cup, bro? Because
they just spent an hour talking about it. They don't care, bro.
So you see, like, there's a the WBA. I hear what you're saying, that it counts, but it don't mean nothing, because what I'm saying is, so you see, like, how there's the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and those are the world belts, and then they do this guy versus this guy, and then it's the Ring Magazine belt. No one gives a fuck about the Ring Magazine belt.
I'll be real as well, because I want to be biased, but I'm going to be real, When we won it, most of the headlines was about Firmino playing his old team in Brazil. It wasn't really about, like, we won it. We won it. It was like, it was sentimental for him. But it's at the same time, it's a trophy. It is.
No, wait, aren't you talking about the World Club Cup, though?
Yeah, you're talking about club.
We're talking about the Super Cup. So we're talking about the Champions League winners against the Europa League winners.
We're just talking up here. These men are like, Super Cup.
I don't. None of those. Champions League means more than all of those to me.
Yes,
in my opinion.
But the European Super Cup, obviously, first of all,
European Charity
the
Shield,
Europa League or the Champions League to compete.
Wait, no, I think it's good. Why is it not triple threat? Throw Chelsea in there as well. Let's just have chaos football for one game.
3 goals. What the hell?
This is crazy. You lot should have better play knockouts. You get picked 5 players.
I like to see you're at a place where logic has gone out the window and you just resort into jokes.
Throw the Baller League champion in there as well.
I mean,
you should play Chelsea first. You should play Chelsea first. And the winner of that,
that's crazy.
How about no?
That's an idea. That's a decent idea to be.
Remember where you heard that first, yeah?
I want to respond to this. This is just loser talk. That was there. I feel that one there. That's just a bit of hate, innit? Because at the end of the day, you ain't said nothing that isn't a fact. Do you know what I mean? So
anyway, guys, I want to end the show, but I want to end it to saying, where do you guys think you'll end up next season? And what do you hope to obtain, man? So I'll start with Newcastle fans. Toon?
Man, it's too early to say, man. I have to wait how the transfer window goes, man. If hypothetical world, if we get the transfers,
YouTube, man.
If we get the transfers that I would like us to get, and what I would expect is for us to have a tally between 66 to 70 points. Semi-finals and finals for all domestic trophies, and to get past the group stage of the Champions League.
Cool. Mitch, you say more?
Similar, over 70 points in the league, go deep in one of the domestic cups, and get out of the group stage of the Champions League.
Breach. I know it's tough, but just hypothetical, isn't it?
The same as Mitch, exactly what he said as well. Yeah.
You can't be the same as Mitch. What do you mean the same as Mitch?
Oh wait, was you talking from you can't what? You want Liverpool to get 70 points? Is that what you want now?
More. You said more. You said more than 70 points.
I said yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I want more than 70.
We need to break that barrier. I think that's the next thing on our list. We need to break that barrier.
See. You know, yeah. I need to the transfer window. I need to see the transfer.
So you give Ekatike, for example, and you get all the time.
What my expectation is, whatever happens in the transfer window, it's supposed to be making us win the league again next season.
Fair enough.
You retain it, yeah.
Fine. Yeah, that's cool. FaZe, what do you reckon?
Shit, what's the question?
Where would you expect your team to finish next season, man?
You can't ask me. I don't do football like you lot, man.
No, it's just, brother, it doesn't matter what we think. It's just about your opinion, like what you want for your club.
But I've had so many years of being an Arsenal fan and having expectations that I just don't do football like that no more. Whatever happens, I'm going to support my team next season and come here and talk about them.
I know that. Well, just a hypothetical question. It's not that deep. It's not like I'm asking you to predict. Like I am asking.
FaZe. If next season, if you could go to one Arsenal parade, what parade would that be?
All right, that's a better question. Go on. Take that then.
Bro, I was this close to going to Palace's parade because they're local, bro. I'll take anything, bro. I'll take anything, bro.
You know, like they say, one has to go. Usher. Like you just got to pick one.
I think that Arsenal fan, it should be Champions League because we've never won it.
Okay,
and I put a lot of weight on that because we haven't won it. So my ultimate desire and hope, and not an expectation, my ultimate hope is that we win the Champions League before I die. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, man. That's a perfect answer, bro. That's a perfect answer, man. I'll go Olu first before I get to Jay. Olu?
What I think we're going to do next year? I think
you know the question, Olu, man. You know the question.
This dude's on. He started something, Olu, with that super chat,
So next year, I expect us to get 6 points against Newcastle.
Failed.
And then we'll knock you out of the Champions League.
Relax yourself. But no, ultimately, I'm a fan, and I'll always be a fan, so I'm always going to believe Arsenal will win the league. So let's start with that.
Yeah, fair enough. Jay?
Let's get back above 70 points.
17th to 70 points.
Yeah.
Dude broke his camera.
Your manager's played 66 games and barely done that. How are you going to do it?
Dude smashed up his setup. Dude smashed up his setup.
How many points did we get last season?
No.
Let me check.
56.
38.
No, the season before. 23-24.
Yeah, but in the last 66, you've got like 74 or something like that.
Yeah, but even with that points per game in that first season, how many points did we get?
66, 23, 24.
66.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you haven't broken 70 yet.
Yeah, so I think that should be our aim to get close to 70 as possible.
What do you expect?
I think I'm a pretty accurate judge of the team. I think if everything goes well, we'll be top 6.
We've got 71, 21, 22.
Yeah. So
is that with Ange or without Ange? Sorry.
Great question.
Either or, bro. Like, you know,
it's about Ange. It's about Ange because you got
either or. I just think that this season the league placing is to an extent an anomaly, and the board will rectify it. Whether that means getting and much better players, or whether it means getting a new manager, I just don't think. I think we'd use this opportunity to help the club get back to where it needs to be. Like, I think we're coming off a Europa League. We're just, I'm confident we'll use this in a positive way. But however people want to look at the last 2 years, history will look at it 5th place and a European trophy in the space of 2 years after selling. That's how history will remember it. Us who live through the moment on a weekly basis, having to listen to Toon KKK.
What's your expectations? They're giving us a whole history channel.
It's so funny because you're so passive aggressive. Because before we won the trophy, I couldn't help but hear you say, "I really want Tottenham to win." But since we won, it's got the stench of you taking a little bit of the shine off my season.
I'm worried about you guys, man.
You know what I mean? Like, equal eye friends.
You're high off that trophy. You accuse me of being high off that. You guys are high off this trophy thing, and you're just ignoring the 66 games of just absolute whoopage.
I gave you that stat. I gave you that stat amongst friends, and you guys have used it like a bar of soap. I swear to God, 1.18. I'm hearing you guys bastardize my stat. You stole it from me, and you bastardized it.
Wait. We did not steal it. You gave it to us.
1.18.
You gave it to us, and we flipped it on its head and used it against you. That's what happens on this show.
No, listen. Low-hanging fruit is low-hanging fruit. Do you know what I mean? Eventually, you're gonna get killed off the pesticides. So it is what it is.
That's the ending. That's the ending right there. Nothing's gonna throw you like.
I need to understand, how does Jay?
End the stream match.
No, we need Ash's prediction.
Yeah, no, I would say, look, what I want is a top 4. I predict.
Ignore them.
I didn't expect to be asked this.
You go away with it.
I gave it.
You don't want Ange out. You don't want Ange out.
It's as simple as that, man. That's the way it is. Simple as that, man.
What did you say? What was your expectation?
Like,